I ain't touching my
I'm
butt.
not even on mine. Thank you, standing desk.
Well, I'm
Ooh,
on my
alright.
butt. So you're going to stand up for the whole show, you see? I think that'd be weird. Maybe legs
No, there'll be a
aching
there'll be a moment where the camera turns off, and then I'll be magically half a feet smaller.
Magically delicious.
Oh, see. Half a feet
Yeah, hold on.
smaller.
All right, are we
Otherwise,
ready
I'd
to
just
start
do
this
this.
thing?
I
Otherwise,
think
just do
so.
this.
I know.
There you go.
Let's start the motherfucking show, bitch!
Let's do this.
Let's do this, man. I don't want any chances of technical difficulties getting in the way of
to
stuff.
the veteran gamers. Juju, Jimmy, and the fellas will tell you about every single game that you're playing this week.
That's weird.
Reviews and an indie pick.
That's suspicious.
Story time and Chinny's game breakers. Here comes Duke with the soundbite saviors.
Hello?
Hello?
Stop saying hello!
Hello.
It's the veteran gamers.
Wario cheats!
Yeah, boy.
Perfectly level flying is the supreme challenge of the
Switch that
scale model
console
pilot.
off before you have to press repeat, yo.
Hello and welcome to episode 657 of the Veteran Gamers podcast.
Yay, 657. What's up, people? I'm Duke. No, it's 656, isn't it?
Well, it was 656 according to the thing last week.
Oh, whoops. No, that's why, because I was out for this show and I didn't update
I
it.
don't know. Sometimes
Oh,
I do get it
crap.
wrong, though, to be fair. But this week I didn't, I don't think. I always check.
Okay, sorry. 657. I'm Duke.
I'm Stu.
And I'm filling in again. Hello.
Again,
But
it's
you're
like
filling
you're
in for a
just
different
regular.
person this time. I was out last
Yeah,
week
no,
with
so
COVID.
maybe-
Stu has the
Yeah.
COVID this week.
I'm literally in the middle of COVID.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah. A little bit rough. I'm not as night times don't seem too bad, and afternoons it tends to be first thing in the morning when I'm the roughest.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear it's not too bad.
No, not too well. You know, I'm trooping. I'm trooping. The thing is, though, right? What I'm amazed at is how quickly I got ill. That's what's fascinated me the most.
It sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
Well, it was
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like I'll tell you the story because it is a story.
Oh,
Really story.
snap. Here comes the story time.
My favorite time. It's story time. Story time.
COVID story time.
So Friday morning,
Yes.
gets out of bed.
Yes.
Little bit of a snotty nose, nothing major, you know, just a bit snuffly.
It's that phase where you're thinking maybe this is just a little cold or something.
Correct, right? A
Yeah.
little bit of sore throat, but
Yeah.
again, nothing major. So we went out for breakfast, right? Because I
Uh-huh.
was off and Kay was off, so we're like, go for breakfast.
Yeah.
And on the way to going for breakfast, I get a text from work off Karen saying, just to let you know, I've got COVID.
Oh, geez. Way to go,
So
Karen.
I was like, right, okay then.
What a Karen.
Thinking, So anyway, we goes for breakfast, came home, and I said to Kay, like, I guess I should do it because obviously we've got someone else that had COVID at work, so we were doing daily testing anyway. But you don't have to do it on your days off; just do it before you come in again.
But you didn't want to be reckless. You wanted to be careful.
So I said, you know what? I should just do a test, just to be
Yeah.
on the safe side, make sure I haven't got it.
Right.
Did the test? I'm no kidding you now. The reddest line came up almost instantly.
Oof.
Right, and I'm like,
But you were still feeling okay at this point.
yeah, no, nothing really. Not very
Yeah.
ill, not really
Right.
feeling very ill. Just
Okay,
like,
okay.
wow, well, that's a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
So I turned to Kate, I went, I'm positive. Right. She went, you are? And I'm like, I'm positive. She's like, you joking? I'm like, no, I'm positive. Right. So
Ugh.
she's going like, right, get in the conservatory. Right. So
Well,
I text
yeah.
her.
Get away
The
from me.
funniest
But
thing-
it wasn't enough. You said she got sick.
Well, the funniest thing is, right, and then I saw a text work almost instantly, like, oh my God. But before I did that, Tracy texted me and said, tomorrow when you come in, obviously Karen's got COVID, can you do some extra prep for Sunday?
I ain't
And I
doing
went,
no extra
I've
prep
just
for
sent you-
nothing.
I've just sent you a WhatsApp with my test. I'm positive too. She's like, oh my God.
Ah.
So yeah, so we're both off,
Stinks.
and 4 residents have got it as well, apparently. So
Ay,
it's
ay, ay.
just going around at work.
Well, yeah, it's very
Um,
communicable at this point.
Oh,
New
it's
strain, man.
highly contagious, this bloody strain,
Ugh.
isn't it? I was just like,
And of
so
course,
anyway,
you know,
but-
every time there's a new strain, they're like, this one's twice as contagious as the last one. It's like, God
oh,
damn
yeah,
it.
it keeps on getting worse, doesn't it?
So
But
sick of this.
overall, so that happened, right? And then I didn't feel too bad. Right? I feel all right. I can handle this.
Yeah.
And then by probably 6 o'clock on Friday, the same day, I felt absolutely doddered. I mean, I was aching all over. My nose was that bunged up. I was constantly blowing it. Sore throat, headaches.
Yeah.
Even my eyes were hurting.
Oof.
Right.
See, I'm lucky that I didn't have, like, I mean, I was not great when I had it last week. I'm coming out of it now. I still tested positive yesterday, but I feel very well right now. But, yeah, I didn't have a lot of aches so much as I did just coughing constantly and trouble sleeping. So, that was
trouble sleeping. Sleeping's the worst. Like, when I woke up in the morning, I just feel so rough.
Yeah.
Like every day this week, I've really struggled to sleep anyway. Because
do you take anything before you go to sleep?
Just a couple of paracetamol, you know, just standard stuff. I suppose.
See, because I've been taking NyQuil, and that's been helping me sleep through the night. So I don't know if you have access
I've not
to
slept
that,
too badly, but just you've not been sleeping well.
Yeah.
And then the first day on Saturday, I didn't get up till 11:30, which I never. I'm always up early doors in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I went on my app, you know, like the app for me watch how you slept, and it's like you slept terrible. It's like the score is 70 or something.
Just a frowny face on the watch. Yeah.
Yeah, massive frown on it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not shocked. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit better today. Not terrible, but
you're well enough
sure
to be here, which we appreciate.
I'm fine. I've had loads of time to play games. So
well, that's good. But you also don't want to push yourself. You don't want to, you know. So take it easy. Right. Don't get worked up. Don't, you know. Antonio, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. Yeah. If you see me messing about with this for the stream viewers, it's a little ice pack. I tore my pec muscle 2 months ago, and I'm still trying to nurse it back to health.
We're all sick and diseased and wounded and hurt.
Yeah.
And Chinny had his head cut off, so he's busy having that resewn.
Yeah, that's why he's not here.
Yeah.
Can I just say, by the way, Millie still hasn't got it.
Oh, thank goodness.
So I'm banished to the conservatory. Kay's in the bedroom. And Millie, bless her, sat on her own in the living room watching the diary.
So let me ask you this then. When you interact with Millie, or if you have to go upstairs or something, like, do you put on a mask? Because that's what I did with the Duchess.
Yeah, I've been putting on a mask, like just go to the toilet or whatever, holding my breath as I walk through the room.
Yeah.
And Millie's been getting out of the way.
You only have the one toilet, if you don't mind my asking?
No, we have a downstairs one, so I've just been going there.
Oh, okay.
And now Kay's going there as well, so Millie's got the upstairs loo to herself now.
See, that's the thing, is that, like, the Dutch and I have been very fortunate to be very separate. Like, I tried to minimize all interactions with her. Yeah. And so that's, whatever. We just also got lucky, so.
But I've been with Kay all the day before on Thursday as well. We've been out all day, been in the car together, so the chances of her not getting it were slim.
Yeah, I mean, you can transmit it without even realizing it.
Yeah, with Millie, luckily, we went to get a Chinese together on Thursday night, but other than that, we didn't really mix that much on Thursday. So there's a chance. There's still a little chance, although she's been with Kay for the last 2 days, so who knows?
What's up, people in the chat?
Hello,
Quaxel, Ian, SLH, some other people probably. Love having you here. Video games. Anything else about COVID people need to discuss, or other stories?
No, COVID. I'm done with COVID. I'll be done with COVID when it's gone.
Yeah, really.
Where are you going? Story time's over, isn't it?
What you been playing?
What you been playing? What you been playing?
Chinny, by the way, is actually in Scotland, which is why he's not here with us today.
Yeah, he's not even visiting.
I'm from North Kiltown.
Which is where I should have been tomorrow, but obviously not now.
Not now.
Where were you supposed to be then, Stuart? Where were you supposed to be?
Hoik.
We were supposed to be.
It's just on the Scottish borders. We've booked a nice apartment for the week. I've loads of plans and stuff to do. And I've had to cancel. I lost half my money as well, which was even more galling. And not on top of all of that, the fucking weather forecast is amazing for the whole week.
Isn't it?
The first time ever that they've had a good weather forecast in Scotland, and you can't go.
Mate.
Well, here's the thing, Duke. Here's the thing. I've been to Scotland twice in my life on holiday. Yeah. And both times it pissed it down.
Well, yeah. Right? I mean, that's what I...
The one time
gloomy and grey when I went.
I'm going to Scotland, and it's sunny. I'm stuck here because I've got frigging COVID. What is that all about?
The gods are taking the piss.
They are.
All right, who's going first with these video games that we're talking about?
Right, I'm going to go first.
Stu's going to go first. Go ahead, hit us. Let us hear what you got.
I finished as Dusk Falls.
Oh, okay. Chinny was playing this, but we can't obviously hear from him.
And he's finished as well, so we're going to do a spoiler cast because there's a lot. Not so much, I don't think, on the actual end,
Okay.
But there's a lot of variation on the journey to get there.
Ah.
And there's a lot of variation on who is still around, shall we say, at the end.
Okay.
And what sort of situation they're in.
Yes.
So there's a lot of variation. It's kind of interesting, really. They did it very, very similar to Thingy Become Human. What was that called?
Detroit Become Human.
Detroit Become Human, yeah.
Yes,
The
okay.
David Cage thing. But the woman who made this is from that studio. So
yeah, there you go.
But it's quite interesting. There's a lot of, obviously, it shows you all the branching story, like where it can go. So it's like a big like line graph, I guess, with all the little things in between. Some of the things I got were really low, like only 5% of other players did it, which I kind of always kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And they tended to be around what I thought were good decisions, not necessarily good decisions, but not bitter decisions, if that makes kind of any sense.
Not bitter decisions?
Yeah.
You were trying to take the high road.
Well, it's hard to give you an example without a spoiler.
I don't need an example. I'm just trying to get a sense of the emotional connection here.
Yeah, there's not necessarily taking the high road, but maybe God, it's so hard. If you were very,
I mean, you could give a scenario, right, but then just change the names and the genders or something. So
well,
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah, but you'd still know when you got to that bit. But like, for instance, like not letting pride get in the way.
That's all right.
Of
I
a
got
decision, if that kind of makes sense. So it's not necessarily. A lot of people will probably disagree with some of the decisions I made.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm kind of a forgiving person. That's probably a good way of putting it.
Well, a lot of these games. I mean, here's the other thing. When it comes to these games, part of the game is trying to figure out what the game considers to be the proper move, the better path to take, and that's usually not letting ego, not being angry, forgiving giving people second chances, and that's fine. That's how I try to live my life too. But obviously, in some instances, if you give people second chances, they're going to screw you over and stab you in the back. So.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, that some of the second chances I gave worked out well.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
So that's a really good way of putting it. You put it way better than I could have, and you haven't even played the game.
Hey,
but it allows you to make those sorts of choices. You can either do the no way, that's it, we're done,
right,
or you can do the second chance scenario. And I was kind of a second chance kind of guy, I don't think a lot of other players were a second chance kind of people.
Hell no, man! Fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah, and I think that's you put it so well then.
Stu must be sick, man. Talking about I put things well.
You did. By the way, I absolutely loved it. I loved the game.
So you kill this dog?
No, did I? No. You don't even get a chance to kill the dog. He'd probably kill you, to be fair.
It's not an option?
No, you can fight
I'll take him out. Come on, dog. Let's go.
I like to talk to. I threw a stick that just did
Listen,
not
dog.
work.
Can we just have a conversation? Just human to dog. Come on.
But it's great. The game is great. I love the story. It was really well done. Unlike a David Cage game, it was actually a good, meaningful
That's a pretty low bar,
story.
to be fair, but I'm glad to hear it's better than a David Cage game.
Oh, massively better. Even just the acting wasn't as great. You know, I know that sort of Heavy Rain had some dodgy acting, but as he got obviously more better paid actors in the later games, it was more the story and scripting that was suffering.
I think most people would probably put Walking Dead Season 1 as like the gold standard for this type of game. Choices, visual novel type of thing, right? Is that fair? We all agree on that?
Definitely, yeah, I would definitely agree.
Would this be your number 2 spot now, or is that going to be...
I think it's, if I'm going to be totally honest, as much as I love The Walking Dead, I think this supersedes it in some respects.
Wow, that's saying a lot, dude. That's pretty...
It is, and I will tell you for why, because I do think it's just... I think it's more grounded because of the story that it tells. It's kind of more relatable.
Okay. It's not got the zombies, so that makes it more
it don't got the
realistic.
zombies and all that kind of... This is more like a... I'm trying to think of a director that does these types of films. But it's more grounded. The characters are really relatable, a lot of them. And you've probably come across... I mean, some of them are a bit of a cliche, whatever, or stereotypes.
Yeah.
But I do like it. I like the ending. The ending I thought was really, really clever. But again, the ending, to get the ending I got, particularly, you had to do about 4 other things in a certain order for enabling that to happen. Do you know what I mean? You had to do make all these other choices.
Let me ask this one. Right. So do you know, in terms of the endings, like, because this has been always my thing, Heavy Rain, to give just one example that I don't mind spoiling, you're going to end up having that fight at the same place. Everybody has that fight. That's where all the
goes to one place.
No matter, where you branch off and diverge, it's going to all converge again on that spot. Is that the way this game ends up, or are there like legit options that you could end up in like 10 different places?
No, there's a legit ending where you have what you obviously know is a definitive final scene, which I think everybody gets.
Okay.
But it's how you handle that final scene determines.
Just curious. I mean, that's fine. There's nothing that says you can't do that. Yeah.
But the biggest differences are what happens to everybody else that was involved in the story.
Sure. You get a little,
and all the choices you made throughout the game affect what happens to everybody else.
Yeah, I got you.
And I guess that's what I liked about it, because it's not necessarily what happens at the end of your story, is what impact you have on everybody else by the decisions you made during the story.
And do they reveal that with like someone explaining what happens, or do you get to see them in different places?
There's final, so you know what happened, where everybody is at the end, or what happened to them, and you do know why they ended up where they were. So you sort of like, oh god, that decision I made, like, I don't know, 4 hours ago is the reason that they where they are now. And I think that's what's cool about it. And there's a lot of different endings for the other characters.
Yeah.
And you do play as multiple characters throughout the game, so you're never playing as a single character.
Right.
So you play as a lot of different characters.
Yeah.
I love it. I was massively impressed. It's definitely on the sort of top 3 games of the year so far for me.
All right, you heard it here, people.
I'm blown away. I just think so well done, well acted, well written.
Okay.
Edge of the seat stuff. There was a lot of tension. It does a great job of making you like worry about your decisions, because sometimes you don't even know what's really the right decision to make.
Right.
And I kind of like the ambiguity of that. I like the fact that I'm sat there thinking, God, and it only gives you 20 seconds to make that decision. I'm like, shit, I don't know. What do I do here? What's the best thing to do?
Right.
And sometimes a couple of times I made what I thought was a bad decision that turned out to be a good decision.
Yeah.
You know, and it does a good job of that as well. It's sort of almost, you take a chance on something that you think might be the wrong thing to do, but it turns out to be the right thing to do.
Right.
And honestly, it's so well done. I can't recommend it enough. It's on Game Pass. You know, if you've got Xbox or PC, you can play it. Just give it a go.
It's Dusk Falls. Check it out.
Very, very good. Okay. It has Dusk, not Dust, by the way.
Right. Yes. Antonio, what you got?
I will piggyback off what you're talking about and talk about a dog. There's a dog in this game, a talking dog, actually. So this game is.
Does he have shifty eyes?
Sadly not. No, I was trying to legitimately think. No, sadly not.
Okay.
And that is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm still playing this game.
This last week, weren't you?
I was indeed. There are some new games, including a classic from Duke that I'm going to crush his soul with later. But we'll get to that.
Uh-oh.
It's a shooter. Okay. Have a little think.
I can take it.
This game is still great. This game is consistent all the way through. It is, as I said last week, extremely linear. Like, it's funny. Once I fully upgraded every character, it stopped giving me experience points. It just completely got rid of it and said, whatever. What I did want to mention,
because I often wonder what's the point.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I do want to mention that something I did not mention last week is it is a bit fourth wall breaking, which I really enjoyed. There are times where, say, I would make a wrong choice and credits would roll, as if I just completely messed up the entire game.
Interesting.
Things like that. Things where you have to think outside the box. Like, for example, a dream sequence where if you continued to keep running, the dream would never end. You had to think outside the box and think, okay, this game is trying to trick me here. What's going on?
Interesting.
And it is extremely linear. Like I said, there are boss fights, and they are very, very easy boss fights. Like, I just fought a massive dragon, and it was as if I was swatting away a fly. It's extremely easy, the game. But as I mentioned last week, that's kind of what I wanted right now. I want something simple and easy to follow. And that's what this is. The writing is really good. From my research, a lot of the actors aren't video game actors. They are traditional actors brought in. Like, for example, the lead who plays Star-Lord, this was his only video game he's ever done. And the reason I mentioned the dog is there is a talking dog called Cosmo. he's pretty damn great. He's like the mayor of a place called Nowhere. Someone in the audience is probably a big Marvel fan, and all this makes perfect sense to them. Means nothing to me. I really do recommend it. I won't go on like I did last week, but it's just really simple, really easy to follow. It can get hectic later on once you've unlocked everybody's powers, because the combat does get very, very crazy. But I'm really enjoying it. Like, have any of you watched gameplay and been interested in this at all?
No, the first time I saw it, to be honest, was when Ginny was playing it last week when you were talking about it. What's weird for me, I didn't actually realize it was a linear game. I thought it was some sort of open world thing, so I never really looked that closely at it. And I don't know why I thought that. I just assumed it was. For some reason, I think it's because a lot of other Marvel games have been more this sort of open world MMO weird sort of, I don't know, weird games. So I've never really looked at it, but I definitely will put it on my to-play list.
And it has got the branching paths kind of thing. So it is still an atypical story, linear path, but there are choices where, you know, someone hates you, so they won't do that, or someone likes you, so they will do that kind of crap. Yeah, and it's nice to have a choice, you know, that you picked, say, in hour 1, come back in hour 10, and actually give you a reward, which is nice.
Right.
Like, for example, there's a bit involving a goat. No, I won't say more about that. But he eats something which at the start is annoying, but later on it saves your butt at one point.
Right.
Let me ask you this question, Antonio. Does he at some point say, "I am goat"? Because that would be pretty funny, based on the "I am."
Yeah, instead of Groot, I get that. That's quite
get
good.
it. That's hilarious.
The writing of the actual crew is amazing. Like, Groot, in a way, is one of the best written characters, I'd say, because you hear what he says through another character.
Yeah.
And at times the character in question, called Rocket, who can translate his language, isn't there.
Okay.
So sometimes you have to kind of interpret what he's saying. Like, I know it's not that deep, but it's nice. It's nice.
Do you know who plays him in the movies, Antonio?
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel. It's just the weirdest gig he must have ever had.
Pretty weird.
It was that, and I know that he did the dubbings in other languages, since it is just 3 words.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
You just have to learn 3 words and how to say them differently.
Right.
Yeah.
You can, one last thing as well, you can, in between missions. In between missions, you can go around your ship, and I wouldn't say build trust with your team, but it's more just learn more about them and their feelings regarding the mission, because it is kind of a motley crew journey, and you grow with the team. I'm probably overselling it, but I really do enjoy it. It's never going to get a sequel because it bombed in terms of sales, and also Eidos Montreal is currently in the process of being sold. So. Yeah, we're never going to get a sequel, but in a way, I don't mind that, because once this story's over, it's done, I can move on.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it, but I've been enjoying the ride, and I can tell it's going to climax soon. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends. I
personally wonder if they just didn't market it very well, because I just didn't see that much about it. And obviously, I made my own interpretations of what sort of game it was and was completely wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's a mix of that, and also the previous Marvel game was Avengers, which I don't know if you played it, but I did during EGX and also later on, and it was not good.
And that was open world, wasn't it? Some weird open world.
It was.
Thing. Yeah,
it's weird.
I think that's why I thought this was the same.
It was a linear story for a few hours, and then it opens up into the grindy co-op game nature, and that's where it was rough. Well, that, and it had a less than clean sheer of polish. Unlike this game, it's polished beyond belief. I've had like 1 or 2 weird bugs where for some reason I jump really high and commit suicide. Don't know why. But even when you die, it just respawns you straight away.
Isn't it a shame, though, that they've spent all this time, made a really quite decent game, and nobody played it?
Yeah, well, that's the life.
Well, we're going to change that. Right, we're going to start Antonio's glowing recommendation is going to make people rush out and play it.
Yeah, I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
Hopefully at least one person does. To pull us to it is on Game Pass. And it's worth it. I would not have played it. I would not have played it if it wasn't for that. I wouldn't have. So much so, I'm the kind of guy that buys and sells things sometimes. I saw these games, like I think it was like 3 copies in my local Tesco. They were being sold for like 20 quid. You can sell them online for 40. So I thought I'll buy them and just sell them. I had a good game and I flogged it off. I was the fool. So yeah. And also you can buy this on disc for like a tenner if you would rather have it on a disc. I really recommend it. It's like buying a DVD.
Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Yeah. I will give it a go. Like I say, I like a good linear story game. I will try it out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Duke, over to you.
Cool.
I've seen you've got the biggest list I think I've ever seen.
I've got a pretty big list. Real quick, I'm going to talk a little bit about Dinkum, because Dinkum is the game that I have been obsessed over recently. So, yeah. Whoops. What? Oh, no.
What?
Sorry. No, it's just that the thing that I had ready to go is not ready anymore. So, all right. So here's the thing.
Put porn on by mistake or something.
No.
You know, just saying.
No, that's not likely to happen. Yeah, here we go. So I have footage of me playing Dinkum. How about that? Right. So there's Dinkum. Booyakasha. Right. So Dinkum, for those who don't know, is a game made by one dude in Australia, and it's Stardew Valley in 3D, and it's fun, and you're beating
Animal
up monsters,
Crossing
and you're
and
farming, and
stuff.
you're digging up stuff, and you're repairing teletowers and all this stuff. I've pretty much done everything there is to do in this game. I keep, I'm on the Dinkum Reddit, and, sometimes people will come through and be like, they'll post things about, okay, what do I do next? And the consensus seems to be that when you reach the point where I'm at, you're pretty much done.
How long has that taken you?
I ended up playing it for about 30 hours, I think.
That's pretty good, though. It's good value for money.
It's very good value for money, and I could keep playing it. The question is why, right? There's really no end goal. In Stardew Valley, you're refurbishing the community center, and that's kind of the end of the game. I think the credits even roll after you finish the center, but this doesn't have that. You can basically, once you get everybody to move to the island, that's most of your objectives completed. You can keep acquiring money, you can keep building new quarries and stuff. You can keep expanding your, colonization of the island, so to speak. You make paths and stuff. But, for the most part, it's just you're treading water at that point. So it's amazing. It's very engrossing. I'm really curious to see where he goes with it next in terms of the development path. He's got a, roadmap all laid out on his website. And it's so much fun along the way. I can totally see myself, 1 or 2 updates from now, just starting all over and just having a lot of fun going through it again. Because the gameplay loop is really, really fun. It's cute. It's well made. The biggest drawback to starting over is that I finally have you can see in the gameplay footage here when I played it on our stream a couple weeks ago, I had the rowboat, and that's fine, but now I have a little jet scooter. So I'm like running around all over the place, and it's so fast, it's so efficient. And because I have repaired the teleportation towers all over the island, I can go all over the place instantly. So it's really nice that way. And I can't say enough about how much I like this game. Dinkum, Dinkum, Dinkum. It's if you like Stardew Valley at all, if you like My Time at Portia, check this out. It's only on the PC. I expect he's going to probably try to bring it to Switch, but... So, yeah, that's Dinkum.
It's looking pretty good, I'm going to say.
It's very, very good.
It does look pretty good.
Strongly recommend it. I've also been playing Rocket League and Minecraft and Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty and Titanfall 2, but there's nothing really new to say about any of those, so I'll just leave it. Stu,
Leave it
what
there.
you got next?
So, excuse me. So, should we talk about... I know, yeah. I did mute myself and do it, and then he did it again.
Adaca!
Shall we talk about Adaca?
Let's talk about
Adaca. You
Adaca.
guys play this. I came across it on
Yes.
some news thing I was looking at, and I was like...
I was going to ask why you decided to get us to play this, because it's kind of an unusual game to suddenly be like, hey, everybody play this.
Well. You can probably guess why I told you to play it.
Well, I can tell why you enjoyed it, but...
Yeah, well, I did enjoy it, funnily enough.
Okay, so for those who don't know, what kind of game is it?
It's a first-person shooter, I guess is the best way to describe this. You have what's like a gravity gun, but not a gravity gun. It's a gravity arm.
Gun. Right.
It's a gravity gun,
Yeah.
but it's not really a gravity gun.
Yep.
And you have lots of different weapons.
And sorry, for those who don't know, gravity gun in Half-Life 2,
it is.
you pull things toward, you can do any object, lots of objects, and then fling them at the enemies.
This is pretty much the same. Lots of different weapons, some sort of totalitarian police force.
They want you dead.
They want you dead. Some weird sort of zombie things. and some people who sound like they're out of Animal Crossing. Is probably the best way to describe
And at the
them,
start of
because
the
it is an
game,
indie
you don't have a gun, really. You have to just fling stuff at these people for a while.
Yeah, you do.
And that was rough. I'll be honest. At the start of the game, I was not loving it because, I'm not good at flinging things at people. That's not how I usually
It
play
doesn't
games.
take long, though, because once you realise you can steal their guns when they're staggered, it's
Right. So, yeah. Antonio, did you play this at all?
I did indeed. I will say, as well, unlike Half-Life, it's not insta-kill, at least from all the things
Oh,
I've
God,
heard.
no, it
Unless
was
posted.
quite challenging.
These guys are kind of spongy. They got good armor.
Yeah, it takes a lot. I ended
They're
up
quite vocal as well. Quite
Yeah.
often hitting them like a trash can. They go, "Oh fuck," which I thought was
Oh,
quite
oh,
funny.
shit.
Like, but really quietly. But they also weren't really like it wasn't.
Yeah, they
Oh fuck!
swear.
It's, oh fuck!
But they also
Yeah,
give a
they
very
swear,
satisfying
you
noise
know.
when they die. When they, okay, they're dead.
Yeah, I did notice that. That was quite
And
funny.
I like the pixelated blood. It was kind of cool.
Hmm.
Did you get to the whole end? Because it took 3 hours for me to get to the end of the demo.
No, I did not.
did
I will tell you when I
It's a-
gave up on this game, but not
It's
yet.
a big demo. It's
It is
a big demo.
I was impressed by how much options there were.
Um,
I'll say this: one of the most satisfying things is when you pick up a red canister or a can full of oil or whatever, and you fling that at them because that will explode and that's very satisfying. So, while I am
I kinda
partial
like the
to
gas
having
bottles
guns, I did like the element of because I don't want to just fling office chairs at people or whatever. But when
Yeah.
you fling a red canister and that's really nice.
I kind of like when you flung one of the gas canisters and it'd spin around all over the bloody place.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it'd take
That was
some
kinda
people
cool.
by hitting them and then
Yep.
it'd eventually just explode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
also
I
throw
got-
stuff gently, which was nice. I
Yeah.
thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, you can let it go
Yeah.
or you can fling it gently. Whoa.
Yeah, I must admit, I did stop playing it at one point and then came back to it today because I got to a point where I must have tried to do something about 15 times and kept getting killed. And I was
Well,
just like, oh, for God's sake.
I had that same problem too. Maybe it's the same spot. My spot where I finally gave up on the game was there's this bridge, and
Yeah, that took me a few goes as well. That was no, there was a worse spot than that.
you pull. There's this like. Okay, first of all, there are certain ramps or like ledges that you activate by grabbing a battery from over here and flinging it across the chasm into the battery holster, and then the ledge flips out, which is cool. I like that. I thought that was pretty nifty. This had a sliding ledge that you grab and pull towards you, but you can't pull it all the way toward you. You can only pull it about halfway towards you. And I pulled it halfway toward me, and then I got out on there's like a plank that goes across, and I'm like, okay, I'm obviously supposed to run on the plank and then jump onto that.
Yep.
No, you're not. You can't do it. It's not
Yeah, you
possible.
can.
Well,
No,
apparently
you
you can because I got frustrated. I went to YouTube and I was like, what? Show
Yeah,
me the
you
thing.
it took me
And
3
I
goes,
did it.
to be fair.
Yeah, I did it 3 times, and then I did it 6 more times, and then I did it 20 times, and then I said,
You've
I just
got
want to
it.
say, fuck this game. I'm done.
forget it. If that's that frustrating for me to
I'll
jump
be
across
honest.
a little gap, I'm not going to try to eventually make it because there's going to be something else later on that's also frustrating.
The comment I made at the time was, fucking first-person platforming.
Yeah,
is horrible.
exactly. And there's no need
Because you
for it.
don't know where the
There's
end
no
is.
need
You don't
for
know
it.
where the end
This
is.
kind of game is perfect for making that obsolete. You could
Yeah.
easily just bring
Yeah,
it
if you're
towards
doing
you, and then you have to push it towards something else or whatever. Like, there's so many
If
ways
you're
you can
doing a
make it
love letter.
not first-person platforming. Come on.
If you're doing a love letter to Half-Life, get rid of the stuff nobody liked.
Yeah, exactly. So
No, I totally agree. But I did it on the 3rd go. But you have to sprint, last second jump.
yeah,
and
well, I
got on
did
it,
that
right?
20 times, and it didn't. I must
But here's
really
the thing.
suck.
So I got on it, and I'm like, well, how the hell do I get to it? Because it looked miles to the other side. And I was like, well, I'm never going to make that. That's miles. So I thought, fuck it, I just did it. So I sprinted and jumped again, and I actually landed on the other side.
Well, all right.
So I did get a... No, that wasn't the bit that I thought you meant. Did you get to the bit with the enemies on the railway line, on the bridge? Or is that... I
don't
can't
know.
remember that's before
I fought
or
some
after
enemies
that.
on a railway line, but it was on the ground, not on a bridge. So
No, there was you fight somebody like coming up to a like there's a building and then you look down and there's like another building and there's a train keeps going past every however long. And that was fucking hard as hell.
yeah, I
And
think
that's
I
when you
did.
first
I think
get-
I know what you're talking about because I had a fight like that. And fortunately, the last guy, I was down to very little health, and I lured him onto the train track, and then the train squished him, and that was pretty satisfying.
Yeah, because that's when you get the sniper rifle.
Yeah, sniper rifle,
which is a pretty decent weapon.
It is.
It's a pretty
I was
decent
surprised
weapon.
by how much variety there was in the weaponry, and
wow, was loads.
The types of stuff you can do to kill people was pretty nifty. I wanted a lot. I started out thinking this was gonna suck, and then I ended up liking it a lot more than I wanted to, or than I expected to, and then I was just like, I am not trying to spend 30 minutes getting over a little gap. So
I know
this.
that's frustrating when there's something that's as silly as that, isn't it? But yeah, no, I nearly gave up. Did you get to the underground bit when you had to have your torch on, Antonio, with the zombie things?
I did not. I played for about half an hour, and I did enjoy it. But the thing is, I despise mouse and keyboard controls with the passion. Like
no, you can use it. You can use a controller.
That's good.
Yeah, no, you can use it.
Right.
I use a controller. It doesn't tell you that.
It doesn't. No.
But when you start up, you have to start the game with your mouse and keyboard. The minute you start it up, you can just switch to controller. And everything's mapped and everything.
See, I'm the opposite. I hate playing with a controller if I can do a mouse and keyboard. Most games, like except Rocket League and driving games, like give me the mouse and keyboard, man.
For me, mouse and keyboard I associate with work, man, and especially with my injuries, since I have tendonitis in my thumbs, I can only use the mouse for so long. Like I have 2 mice right here that I use at one time. Like no, I can't do that. But I did enjoy the game. I played a lot of shooters in my time, so this didn't wow my world too much. I played VR games that have the same kind of concept as this.
Yeah.
But it's good, and I'm really surprised by how much content the demo has. Like, do you know how long the main game is? If the demo,
I've gone those, but the demo's like 3 hours. It took me.
Yeah.
So that would be decent, I'm guessing. But it also, what it does have, it has like a stalker type mode as well.
Yeah.
So it has the main campaign mode, but then there's an open world mode as well that just gives you objectives to do in this massive open world version of it. So there's a lot of game for your money.
Yeah,
I'd pass on that part personally, but yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed the time I played. Definitely, like
I should have tried that.
Do you know like how big the team was?
So I wanted to say, I mean, because it was released on like itch.io, wasn't it, for a while?
Yeah, originally.
And so I mean, those usually aren't a big group of people. I can totally see this being one or a few people.
Yeah, he definitely obviously sees influences of Half-Life in the way it plays, but I was very impressed. Apart from, like I say, sometimes the difficulty. I turned it down to easy at one point because I'm like, this is fucking getting ridiculous.
So, his bio on itch.io says, I'm a single indie developer and self-taught digital artist just trying to make some good video games.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's one dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's impressive because there's a lot of stuff going on. So I got to a bit where you have to go through this like office complex. And it is, I'm telling you, without the torch on, it is pitch black. So you can't see anything apart from what's in your torchlight.
Yeah.
And there's these fucking horrible zombie things coming at you. And I got to a point where there was so many. You're in this, it's almost like a bit like a horde mode. So I had barely any ammo left. And then every however long, these doors burst open and a load more zombies come out. They're not hard to kill, but there's just loads of them.
Yeah.
And I ended up resorting to just having to throw stuff at them because I had no ammo for anything.
Right. Yeah, I ran out of ammo a couple times too. That fight I mentioned before is low on ammo, so.
And it was difficult, and I had to do that. I must have tried to do it about 7 or 8 times and kept getting killed.
Yeah.
So I thought, so I turned it off, came down this morning, second go, I did it.
Hey.
Which is usually the case. And I'll be honest with you, video games these days, it's a long time since I've had that feeling where you've had to keep trying to do something until you eventually do it. And I did feel quite like, I did it. Finally did that.
It's funny. Like, I think I used to be into that. And I think my patience for that sort of thing has just dropped over the years. Like, I'm like, if, jumping over the gap. Here's the thing. Look, the first 10 times I did it or tried to do it, I was thinking like, okay, this isn't possible, therefore there's something else I need to do. You know what I mean? I'm missing something.
I was a bit like that,
Especially because the ladder near there, like there are chains you can climb as well. So I'm thinking, I need to climb a chain to get up higher and then I can leap further or something. No, that's not it. I just could, so the point is, if it's clear what I need to do, then that's one thing. And I don't know, when it comes to like taking out enemies that are really tough, I don't know. I've reached a point in my life maybe where I'm like, I don't really want that. So whatever. Which is weird because Rocket League is all about bashing your head against the wall in order to get that thrill of victory. Anyway.
To be honest with you, I don't think they were particularly tough. It was just that there was a lot of them.
Well, yeah.
They
I
just
mean,
kept
I don't mean
coming.
tough necessarily. All of. I'm talking about the experience can be tough. So
Yeah.
whatever.
I was throwing bloody everything at them.
Yeah.
You name it.
Right.
Cabinets,
Yep.
boxes, whatever the hell I could get my hands on. And it was like sheer panic just running around in circles.
The shotgun was
I will
kind of
say-
useless. I felt like the shotgun was pretty useless in this game. I wanted to like
Well-
it. I expected to take down a person one shot, one kill. Nope. It was still took like 3 hits for the shotgun. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well, he gave me at one point, like when I'm fighting the zombies, they carried these like not harpoons, if you will, but they were like they fired metal poles.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, this will be cool. Because
Yeah.
like Half-Life, you get them that crossbow with the bolts, and it's
Yeah.
like pin them against the wall, doesn't he? One shot kills.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, this will be good. Well, no, he's had to fire about 6 in them to kill them. And I'm like, well, that's not very satisfying.
Yeah.
It
Really.
seems a bit pointless.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it. I think there's a lot of effort gone into it, you know, from
Definitely a
this
lot
little
of
indie
effort.
developer.
There's a lot to love about this game.
I may buy it at some point.
Hey.
I may buy it.
Put it in your
I
wish
think.
list. It'll go
Yeah.
on Steam sale.
Yeah, wait for it
Don't
to
let
get
the
sale.
visuals turn you off, by the way. Like,
Yo,
I
no,
know
the
this is
visuals.
local
I
very
thought the
well
visuals were
Steam.
good. Yeah.
Okay. Because when I see this style, I go, oh no, and then like normally look away.
Right. This
maybe
is
I
a
already
style
heard
that
that.
a lot of developers will use if they're starting to make games and they don't really know what they're doing, or if they're looking to, make it look better than it really is, and you can see flaws open up very quickly. But this isn't like that. He put in the work to use this style, but do it right.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And the physics felt good as well. You know, the shooting
except
felt
the
good,
jumping.
the aiming
Yeah.
was fine. First person jumping's always going to be terrible.
Yep.
No matter
And I
what
thought
you
the
do.
water on the first level here, I thought that water was toxic or something. So I was like, I can't get in the water. And then I fell in. I'm like, oh, wait, it is not doing anything.
Yeah, it's the most shallow harbour that's ever been, by the
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
You just walk around in it.
But
But yeah,
motion blur as well. Dear Lord, I turned that
Yeah.
motion blur off straight
Yeah,
away. Dear
V-Sync
Lord.
as well was a bit of a problem until I turned that on.
Yeah.
But
So
no,
Adaca,
I
thumbs up. It's fun.
thumbs up. Yeah, give it a go. And you can use a controller, which obviously it
Good
doesn't
to know.
tell you.
Good to know.
The thumb has gone a bit higher knowing that. That is good to know. That is good to know.
Yeah. And it worked fine, but all I had to do was turn the look sensitivity down a little bit. Because obviously it was made for a mouse, so it was turning about 90 miles an hour. Yeah, you don't want that on the thumbstick, do you?
Yeah.
But
All right.
no, it was fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Antonio, what you got?
Antonio.
I'll do a little rapid fire round quickly for me. The game I alluded to earlier, Duke, was Section 8 Prejudice.
Oh, snap.
Yes, 'cause,
Nobody likes this
I-
game, so I don't blame you for not liking it.
Section 8, I did not mind back in the day. Like, I can grab it on my shelf right over there. It's not bad. But jumping back to this nowadays, the reason I was there was because I was playing a Harry Potter video game, which I'll get to.
Okay.
This is ass. Section 8 Prejudice is ass, man. This
No,
is
it's
not
not.
fun.
Awesome, if
like
you
it.
mean
You say
awesome.
how it is, Antonio. Don't let him influence you. You just tell
Whatever,
him.
I was
man. Haters
not
gonna
a
hate.
fan. I was not a fan. Then
So
again,
why
it
not?
was-
What's the problem in your view?
It's just extremely basic and average. It controls horrifically nowadays. I will say, if I was playing it on the PC with a proper updates, a smooth frame rate, then maybe. But
Okay.
it just was not for me, sadly.
That's fine.
I bought it back in the day because the achievements were showing like 2010 or whenever it came out, and I had quite a few achievements. So I definitely gave it a fair old shake of the stick.
Right.
But nah, it was not for me, sadly. The reason I was playing this was, as I mentioned, to go through the Harry Potter video games because I'm trying to work on a bunch of projects right now,
Yeah.
and one of them involves playing all the Harry Potter games.
Okay.
They're such a weird mishmash of games, man. Like the older ones based on like the first 3 films, like the Zelda clones
Okay.
on the GameCube and stuff. But this one's more of like an action adventure RPG. It's really interesting. Like what caught me
Is
off
this,
guard
is
was
this
on the box.
Chamber of Secrets or?
The one I'm going to mention is called the Half-Blood Prince. It will be very quickly though,
Half-Blood
so I wouldn't even bother. I would not
Okay.
even bother.
All right, I won't bother.
So I was playing through the first 3, kind of got bored because they were all very samey. They wanted to be Zelda, but with Harry Potter like feel to it. So I jumped to the newest one, the oldest one on the 360 because I just wanted something in HD for God's sake. And also, I noticed on the box it says 1 to 2 players. I was like, oh, okay, what's going on here then? I want to see what I could do. Maybe I can get my partner involved.
Yeah.
Literally, all it is the dueling thing. You know, where two wizards fight each other in a little duel. That's all it
Okay.
is. That's all the multiplayer is, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, one of the main gimmicks is that it's a collectathon.
Really?
Yeah, so you got to go around and collect like pieces of like this Hogwarts crest to then level up and get stronger. And it's such a weird game. These games are so weird. And the reason I'm going through this entire thing is because I know the last 2 games are third-person shooters, and I want to know how you go from RPG to third-person shooter.
So can I ask you, is this a full campaign with a full? Does it follow the story?
Full
in the
campaign.
book?
So what I wanted to see was if any of them are A, actually any good, and B, are actually good enough stories to stand on their own. Because these are all released around the same time, and obviously they're copying a book, so they do have the source material to work with. And I will say, as they got better, they did follow the story a bit more, just because the cutscenes got better in quality. But it's rough, man. Like, you can tell the dialogue was written in a day. It's extremely rough, and I want to see where this all goes because I know it's all done by the same team. At least the like console ones.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going through this really weird and dumb journey.
And then presumably,
also
you've got Hogwarts Legacy or whatever it is that's coming out sometime soon, whenever that happens.
Well, that is why I wanted to do all that.
Which might be actually a decent Harry Potter game. Who knows?
Maybe.
The thought process was play through them all, create a video about them, and then but basically tie it into the game releasing.
And write them off
very
as a
quickly
tax
as well.
deduction.
I'm looking at these MacBooks, and the tax reduction is on the mind. And very quickly, before I pass the baton back, I played through, at least very briefly, every Guitar Hero game. Just to refresh my memory on them.
Okay.
Just to basically to help with the writing process. And I did. So you guys we went through the hero rock band craze. What is your favorite of those rhythm games? Would you say, if you were just to say?
Well, I was always a Rock Band dude. For me, it was Rock Band start to finish.
Yeah, I think for me, and it's probably more of a nostalgia memory thing, is the Beatles Rock Band. And the reason I love that game so much is one New Year's Eve, we had all the family around. So we had Kay's mum and dad, Kay's sister and her husband, obviously me and Millie, and obviously Kay. And everybody got stuck in because they knew all the songs. You know, Kay's mum and dad and sister were doing all the backing vocals. And obviously what have you, singing, and brother-in-law was having a go on the bass guitar. I was playing the lead guitar. Millie was on the drums, and it was just a whole family thing, and you just absolutely loved it. And it was that moment when non-gamers and gamers came together.
Who are the Beatles? They're the ones who did all the Maggie's Baby video songs.
Yeah.
There's a Simpsons line like
that's the one I played the least, weirdly enough, because I'm not massive into the Beatles, but I do want to replay it because I'm going through them all. I was a big Rock Band 1 guy myself. I will say, for this project, I want to get the drums again. Dear God, they're expensive now.
Really?
They went from like 10 quid tat to like 60 to 80 quid, depending on which version you want to buy.
We still have them, so maybe we can get a couple of bucks off of that.
I got rid of all mine at CEX. I wish I hadn't now.
Yeah, really.
CEX
Wait
is one of the
100
ones
years, and then they'll really be worth something.
Exactly. I think I've said this fact before, but for some whatever dumb reason, the Guitar Hero drums are pressure sensitive. So if you wanted to, you could use them as a MIDI drum kit.
Okay.
Wow.
Maybe that's why.
And for those who don't know, Antonio was GH Rocker back in the day. He was, were you like #1 in the world in some way?
I was on one song. I checked that just to see if I was still there. Nope. The cheaters and also people that are better than me.
That's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah. Which song?
Because like I was going through the leaderboards and like it was like believable. 4 million points for a 2-minute song. I don't think so.
Well, that's what happened to Millie. You know, when she was like in the top 50 for Super Hexagon.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in some crazy position in the world, and then all the hackers came in, and suddenly all the top 10 scores were identical, and like something like 200,000 seconds or something ridiculous.
Bastards.
Yeah.
And it just spoiled it for everyone because you didn't really know who was really #1 anymore.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
One last thing before I move on, Guitar Hero 3 at least. Guitar Hero 3. The servers are still on and people are still playing. I had a good little co-op session earlier today.
Nice.
It's like being back in 2008.
That's awesome.
And yeah, GH3 will always be my favorite. I adore that game. Adore that game. But yeah, that's my quick fire round done.
That's pretty cool.
Cool.
Pretty cool. Duke.
Yeah, I've been playing some other games as well. I want to talk about Hocus 2 because Stu talked about this, and then I was like, all right, let's give it a try.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I bought it because it was very, very cheap. So
I was going to say it didn't cost very much, did it?
No. That's good. It's not perfect. Generally it's good. So the basic idea behind this game, for those who don't know, is that they are using basically impossible shapes, a la MC Escher, and you move this little red ball around the outside, picking up the red dots in this impossible shape. Good concept. Lots and lots of levels, so it's designed to start you off easy and then gets more complicated. And I reached a point where I kind of wasn't having fun with it, and I was like, okay, what's the problem here? Let me try to figure out why I'm not enjoying this the way I ought to be and the way I was at first. And I made a diagram to help explain this. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
So, here is MC Escher's most famous picture. It's called Relativity, right? So for those listening on the audio cast, it is a series of staircases. Most people have seen this picture. Humans going up and down and looking at each other, and it's all impossible because they're being pulled in different directions, right? So for most of my life, when I was a kid, I loved this picture. And only about 10 years ago did I learn that it's not completely chaotic. Actually, there are only 3 directions that gravity is being pulled. So let me quickly go through this. I made little diagrams. You ready? Here we go. The red arrows show gravity pulling in one direction. So the people in the top left corner of the screen are all being pulled that same direction. The person emerging with the bag from the stairs in the middle of the picture is being pulled in that same direction. The person with the basket in the bottom left corner, they are being pulled in that same direction as well. Then I added green arrows to show the second direction in which people are being pulled.
Wow, this is technical.
I know, right? I'm trying to be helpful.
This is going to be perfect for people listening.
Exactly. So the person looking over the banister is being pulled in that second direction. The person on the far left side, the person at the very bottom, they're all being pulled in that direction. And then here, the blue arrows are showing the third direction that people are being pulled in. So the people eating at the table on the bottom right corner are being pulled that way. The person sitting down on the bench is being pulled in that direction, etc. So you get the idea. All right, here's why it matters. The game, Hocus 2, is using something similar because it is, it's using MC Escher style movements with this red dot. However, here's the thing. Look, if you were going to be in that MC Escher picture and you were going to switch between one of those gravitational pulls and another. Let's say you pushed a button or you went in a doorway, and then when you came out the doorway, you're, being pulled in a different direction by gravity. You could make a video game out of that. With Hocus 2, what it does is it's switching which plane you're on, which way the gravity is pulling you, and at first it does it in a pretty elegant way, so you don't realize that's what's happening. But eventually it becomes less and less elegant. And the game is just flicking you at certain moments when you get to certain points of the shape from the top plane to the side plane, or from the side plane to the underneath, or whatever it is. And that's frustrating to me, because then it becomes a matter of let's guess when the game is going to suddenly put you in one of these other planes. So when I realized that was going on, I was like, I'm not really having fun with this game, and I gave it up.
All right. I don't know what you mean about that, because I don't know how far in you are compared to myself, but I had to figure it out. The game didn't just do it. You had to figure out which plane you needed to be on and how to get on it.
Right, but my point is that in order to get on it, you can't just push a button and be like, all right, I want to be pulled upward now.
No, you've got a lot.
You have to move around on the thing. But
it's perspective, isn't it?
Well, it is perspective, but it's not. It's not automatically clear or consistent how to go from the front plane to the top plane. You know what I mean? At some point, the game kind of just moves you over. If you get to one corner or you go around a bend where you can't see it.
I see what you're saying, but there is a method to it. It isn't just random.
It's not random. You're right. Right.
You have to figure out how to get onto that plane.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is I wish the game had some way of making clear how you do that rather than just wander around the shape until you find yourself on that plane.
I guess I honestly didn't view it that way. I just sort of viewed it as how to figure out how to get on the right plane to get to the dots, because that's the whole point of the game.
That's fine. I gave it about 20 levels, and I felt like it wasn't fun and it wasn't elegant, so I was done.
Fair enough. No, that's fine.
But
is this on a mobile or PC, by the way?
It's on mobile, but it's also on Steam, where I got it. It's like $2. It's a very cheap game, relatively speaking. But because my itch had been scratched, or I had the itch now or something, I don't know, whatever. I wanted to play a fun puzzle game, so I went back to a game that I had played a while ago and then just dropped for whatever reason. I just turned my attention away from it. It's called Cat Slide Tiles, and this is an elegant game. So this game is it's like a you know those tile picture games where you have 15, there's 16 spaces and then there's 15 tiles and you have to move them around and then eventually you get them all in order, or you assemble a picture or something. Right. Yeah, a lot of people hate them for whatever reason. I really like those. So this game is, there's a cat and there's a door and you have to arrange these tiles that create a path for the cat, and some of them are corner pieces, some of them are side passages, some of them are up and down passages, and
as long as it's not a back passage.
I see what you did there. That's pretty funny.
No, I think I'd find this highly frustrating.
It can be at times. Fortunately, one of the things that I like about this game, in addition to the fact that generally it's pretty low-key and not too stressful, they give you, most of the puzzles have like 3 open spaces. You know what I mean? If it were just 1 or 2, it would be a lot more frustrating. But because you can move a bunch of things around, you're usually not. There are a few where you're more constricted. And there was one where I think it was only 1 open space. And I just reached a point where I was like, I don't know how to do this. I'm just going to randomly flip pieces. And I solved it that way by just kind of randomly flipping things. There probably is a method to like, here's how you get this piece over there. But I'm not trying to figure all that out. And at the end, there's this little cute animation where the cat crosses this bridge and you see it like from the cat's walking towards you. And he goes, "Thank you, humans. See you next time." And I was just like, that's just so cute at the end. So I looked the dude up on Twitter and I was like, what a nice little ending to this lovely game. Well done. Name of developer. It's very cute. And I highly recommend Cat Slide Tiles.
There you go.
There you go.
I'll be avoiding that one.
You avoid it. Go ahead. What are you going to play instead? Or what did you play instead? I'm not going to play
that. I can tell you what
you don't like games with cats is why. You hate games with cats.
Because the game I played has a cat in it as well.
Stray.
I played quite a lot of this, obviously, because of the COVID thing. I've got time to just sit and do nothing, so I'm playing games.
Oh, sorry, real quick before you jump in, Stu. Someone was talking to the Duchess, and they said Duchess mentioned that she was, avoiding me because I had the COVID. And the person she was talking to said, "I just don't know what people do when they're isolated like that. Like, you must be so bored." And she goes, "No, he's got video games. He's fine."
Yeah, I was fine. Honestly, I've signed into all the streaming stuff. I've got Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus all set up on the PC. I got me comfy. I've had to swap chairs back for the show, but I've got me comfy chair in at the moment. But I've swapped them back over.
Okay.
Just to my daughter saying good night.
Good night, Millie.
Good night, Millie. Hope you haven't got it.
Hope you're not sick. Yes.
Have you ever played Lego Builder's Journey? It's a kind of puzzle game I think you'd like. It is about 2 hours, mine.
Can you just bear with me 1 second? She's just shouting loads of random
fine,
stuff.
Stu. Go ahead. Antonio and I are talking about something else.
Mute
yourself and shut up. Yeah. I played one called Lego Brick Tales. Is that the same game? Or is that different?
Not that I believe. This one's called Lego Builder's Journey. It was pushed really hard when ray tracing was becoming a thing, because it is a very beautiful game. But I played it when I was in the office recently, and it is really fun. It is a very short game, mind, but it is a very atmospheric and very relaxing game. So if you look it up, it is so it's small grids, and it is trying to get your way from A to B while using Lego pieces. It's really fun. Definitely a sale game because it is 16 quid, and it's not worth that money, I'd say. But I definitely recommend wishing it.
I'm curious. Okay.
Look up some gameplay, I'd say. It is
now wait,
it's
you
different.
said that this came out when?
This came out, let's find out, with Power of Steam.
Okay.
2021 according to Steam Lego Builders
Yeah,
Journey,
yeah.
because I remember it was pushed with like the 3060
Right,
and
right.
3080
Okay.
for ray tracing and stuff.
Okay, that's weird that there's two games so similar to each other. Anyway,
What's the one you mentioned? I'm curious.
So
now.
let me, since Stu is still talking to people in his home, let me talk about Lego Brick Tales. Since you mentioned that other Lego game. Sorry, Stu, we're hijacking your stuff.
No, I'm back. Don't worry. I will.
No,
carry
we're
on in a
hijacking it.
moment. It's
So
fine.
Antonio mentioned a Lego game, and I've played a different Lego game. So my game that I played is called Lego Brick.
Yeah, this looks a bit different. But
yeah,
quite
it is a
interesting,
bit
actually.
different, which is weird. Lego Brick Tales is the game I played. It's just weird that two games with such similar approaches came out so close to each other. But so Lego Brick Tales, it's a Lego building game, but it's weird. Like, okay, you're visiting your grandfather. He's Morty. You're Rick or whatever, or it's the other way around. I don't know. Anyway, he's the mad scientist. He's trying to get you to help him, and it's a really cool concept because you get to this reactor that you need to fix, and suddenly there's like 20 Lego pieces, and you have to figure out how to put them together. That's fine. That's cool. That was neat. I had a good time with it, but then I had like 3 things in a row that were like, build a bridge across this, build a bridge across that, build a bridge. And it got more and more complicated to the point where it was Bridge Constructor. And I was just like,
Same team. It's the
it
same
kept
team.
falling off. And I was like, that's all it is. I don't want to build bridges all day. Lego lets you build anything. And all they're doing is having me do bridges. It was so frustrating because everything I did, it kept falling. You build it in this like abstract void, and then you send a robot over the thing or whatever it is to see if they can get to where they need to get to. And, he kept falling off of things. It would fall apart. And I'm like, I don't know how to build a bridge. I don't care. It's Lego. It's supposed to be fun. So that was very frustrating that I couldn't do that. But anyway, so Lego Brick Tales, not my favorite game ever. But, maybe if you make it past the bridges, there's other cool stuff. I don't know. Neat idea. Not very well executed.
It is the same team as Bridge Constructor, so I think they just got the Lego license.
Could be. All right,
Is that
Stu,
the same people who
Stray.
did the same people who did the Portal one as well?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that game. Yes, Stray. So I'm well into this now. I'm about
Still
5 or
not
6
done.
hours in.
Okay.
No, because I was finishing as Dusk Falls, wasn't I?
Yeah,
So I've been
that's right.
doing, and I've been watching. I'll talk about a little bit after we finish games. But I've watched a load of different TV shows this week, so I'll talk
Okay.
a little bit about those. But yeah, so I was like, right, I need to get some more Stray in. I'm sort of about 5.5, 6 hours in now.
Yeah.
I really like this game. It's so well done.
Well, that's
It's
what I
such
hear.
a clever little game. The animation of the cat is just. I mean, I don't like cats, right? I'm going to put it out there. I've already said this before, but the animation of this cat is so realistic.
Yeah.
It really does look like a real cat. The way it moves, its mannerisms, the stuff it does.
I mean, they'd have to get that right if they're going to do a game
Oh,
focused
definitely.
all over this cat.
Yeah, the environments look great as well. It's such a nice looking game. I've just got to, because I didn't realize how big this game was. I was in like the first, it's called the slums, the first bit you're in, which is a bit cyberpunky, but it's not massive. Looks a bit Chinese, Japanesey.
Okay.
And you're just kind of doing little like things for people who live there and stuff, and you have to go and find these people who've gone
But those aren't
missing.
humans, are they? They're robots?
No, they're all robots.
Okay.
So they're all robots, and you have this little flying android thing that's on your back that helps, which I only today, for the first time, I turned the camera around, and these 2 little eyes are poking out of this thing on your back that you have on your back that carries him. And it's so cute, and I'm like, I've never even seen that before. It's only because I happened to like turn the camera in a certain angle and saw it, and I'm like, so cute. So even stuff like that, you might never see it unless you just do it. But the story's really cool. So you have to go and find these missing robots, and they're all exploring, trying to get back to the surface. So that's kind of the objective of the game, is to get back to the surface.
Yeah.
And I'm in what's known as Midtown now, which is built in an old abandoned subway station.
Okay.
So there's still like the robot things, but I mean, in a new part. What's kind of cool, when you leave the slums, the guy at the sewers goes, right, just to let you know, is there anything else you need to do before you go? Because once you've gone, you can't come back, sort of
No
thing.
coming back, people.
So it is one of those types of games. Once you've finished an area, you don't go back again to it.
Yeah.
That's it. You kind of move.
Get all your achievements in now.
But I love it. The like I say, the animation are kind of second to none. And I'm just intrigued as to find out what the hell's going on. I mean, there was a bit of a revelation today, which I was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
And a lot of the stories told through. So you find memories of stuff. So every time you find something in like the place, the little androidy thing that's flying around that helps you, he remembers something. And that sort of is what the sort of how the story's told, I guess.
Okay.
And it's just finding out, and obviously all these robots, even though they're robots, they're still kind of scared of dying or being injured or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an interesting concept.
Sure.
And they
Skynet.
don't want, so they don't want to go to the surface because obviously the humans before they all disappeared told them that the surface was dangerous and they can't go up there. So they have like these like police type forces that stop anyone leaving. So at the moment, I'm with a bit of a renegade who's trying to get to the surface to try and get out.
What are your thoughts on the storytelling being told by the robot? Because I've played about 3 hours of this, and for the first hour, all the storytelling is done diegetically just by seeing the world. And I thought, is this the kind of game? Cool, I'm going to like this. And then you get a robot that translates the robot language for you, and I got a bit sad. I can see why they did that, but I was curious what you thought about that.
No, I don't mind it at all, and it does have a relevance as you get further into the game. So there's a relevance to that you don't obviously realize, which was the bit of a revelation today. So there is something that you don't realize until you get to a certain point. So what are you thinking about this, Antonio? Have you played it?
Good. I played it with my partner for about 3 hours when it first launched. We stopped for a bit and then we were told, oh, there's co-op now, but it's just a mod on PC, sadly. I really enjoy it. Like I said, for me, I was really hoping, because I saw nothing about this game. I got it because it's part of the PS Plus thingy-majiggy. So you're playing on PC?
Wow.
I'm playing on PC, because it's a PS exclusive, isn't it, on console?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on I think it's on the PS Extra tier, because there's 3 tiers now and all that crap. I really enjoy it. I really am enjoying it.
Has Steam.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing on.
Yeah.
With an overwhelmingly positive review score as well on Steam.
Yeah.
And it deserves it. In my opinion, it deserves it. We do need to go back and play it, me and her together, but I'm saving it for us because, it's one of those games where we are like, we're passing the controller and just taking in the world.
Yeah.
To my point, I was kind of almost hoping that it was going to be just through, seeing the world more than it being told, I'm scared, we're looking for people kind of thing, which is perfectly fine. But for the first hour, it is all diegetic storytelling, which I love.
It's unusual that they would not do that throughout. Yeah, they would. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but like I say, further into the game, you understand why they made that decision, because obviously it does have a bearing on the story.
Fair enough. I'm looking forward to that. But I do love all the little mechanics because how can you get a full game out of being a cat, and keep it interesting? But little things like to move a barrel, you go inside it and walk in it to move it. I thought, that's really cool. Yeah. And there's no real combat per se. It's more avoiding the threat, which I like that sometimes in games where you are not defenseless, but you have to be smart, not strong, which sometimes I like.
One of my favorite things is the fact that there's no actual pointers or this is where you need to go. It just kind of gives you a bit of a clue, and you have to talk to characters in the game to figure out where you need to go to get what you need to do.
Right.
I will say, near the start, there are literally TVs that have arrows and say this.
Yeah. But once you start playing the game properly,
I get your point. Yeah,
there's a lot of the stuff you have to just go and find different characters in the game. Like for instance, where I'm at the moment, I had to find this renegade, and I had to just speak to people and then figure out her address from doing that on the back of this photo, and then literally walk around until I found it. Because there's no map.
Did you find any musical notes for the guitar playing dude?
Yeah, I found about 5. Found about 5 of those. One of them was terrible. I was like, shit, don't play that again. It was horrible.
That's what I liked, because there's a collectible in the world where you can find sheets of music, and like some of them were beautiful, and some of them, are just someone picking up a guitar for the first time and slapping the strings.
Awful thing, like Untitled, and like, what's this going to be? And it was horrendous.
But it added a bit of character to the world.
Oh, definitely. And I think all of the different, what's interesting, all the different robots do have their own little characters going on, which is cool. I think they've done a really good job of it. I think it's a great little game.
I can only comment for the slums, but I want to say very quickly, it's so it's deep, man. It is deep. Like how high and low you can go in terms of actually exploring the area.
Yeah.
If you can see it, you can get to it, kind of thing, which I really enjoyed. And also, a cat and the little buckets going down on a string.
Yeah,
that's just cute, man. I don't like cats, but that's cute, man.
I'm the same. I must admit, I'm beginning to like cats more after playing this. I definitely think Susan.
That's
would
the final
love
twist.
This
Is it's all a big ploy to get people to like cats.
I like this cat.
Maybe.
Yeah,
because he doesn't scratch
Is
your
there a
eyes
game
out.
like that for dogs? I know there's Dogs Life on the PS2 where you play as a dog and do peeing contests.
Fallout 4,
That's the
man,
best I
hang
can
out
think
with
of.
dog.
Yeah, but in Dogs Life,
Final
you play
twist
as a
is
dog.
that Stray was made by a cat. Yeah,
but no, it's great. I'd totally recommend it.
Stray,
give it a go.
Thumbs up.
It's not cheap, sadly. On actually, I don't think it's that bad. At least about 25 quid on Steam.
24 quid, yeah, 24 quid.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad. I was going to say it's not that cheap, but actually, it's good value for money when I think about it.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Because I paid full price, so there you go.
There you go. All right, Antonio, what else you got?
I'll end it with very quickly with Multiverses. Still playing this. Looking forward to when it actually becomes a fully released game because it's still in the beta. It's the reason I'm so excited to be playing this is because I was late to the Smash party. Like I love fighting games, but I'm normally really late to the party, mainly because of DLC. Like Tekken 7 came out in 2016 and it still has DLC.
Yeah.
Like there's still DLC being made for it.
Right.
So I like to wait until everything's out, but to be there at the start of a game and actually play it and see it evolve is really fun. And also I want to do the ranked mode and try and get high up in the ranks because I enjoy that kind of crap. And I love the team element. So there is 1v1s, but I have only played like 1 or 2 matches online 1v1. I like the team element of it. Whether that be being annoyed at my teammate for being rubbish or saying, "Oh, thank God," when he saves my life.
What a save! What a save! What a save!
Exactly. But there is no way to be toxic in this game because like it's
not yet. They haven't figured it out yet. They will. I'm just playing.
That's true, but there's no voice chat, there's no text chat, and it's cross-play. So, like, say someone leaves and I want to call him a naughty word, I can't because there's no way I can.
Right.
Like,
cool.
so, like, if I'm annoyed at someone, what I do is I send them a friend request at the end of the match and see what they do. I find that quite funny.
And then they add you, and you just send them one message, "Fuck off," and then you unfriend them.
No, like send them a message. Sorry, a friend request in like the in-game system. One person did actually add me back, and he played a few matches. He was actually quite good. He just had a bad game, bless him. It's not gonna beat your smashes and all that kind of jazz, but it is fun in its own right, and that's why I'm playing this game. Like you mentioned last week via the chat that you played the tutorial and like
I think I shouldn't have stopped with the tutorial. I should have tried an actual game. The thing that bugged me was that there was so many things. The tutorial threw so much at you. The tutorial is telling you how to pick if you're Shaggy, you're picking up a sandwich, and then you're tethering people to keep them from falling off. And I was trying, and again, doing it all with mouse and keyboard, which probably isn't smart. It was just fighting games are not meant to be done with mouse and keyboard. So I should have tried it with a controller, but it was just I couldn't do some of the things in the tutorial. I just could not make it work. I was like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. And of course, if you can't do it, you can't progress. So again, like jumping across the thing in Adaca, it was like, fuck this. I'm not having fun and I can't progress. So we're done. So it was
Is that the
probably
tutorial you have when you first load in? Is that the tutorial when you first boot up the game?
Yeah. And I think it probably said like, do you want to do the tutorial? I'm like, yes, I don't know how to play this game. So I should have skipped it and been like, all right, let's just play some games and see if I can get anywhere with mashing buttons, a la Soul Blade.
And you can, I think so. But the thing is, one reason I do like that is because, this game is that if you do that, it gives you a attack decay. So say you keep punching with your right fist, do it eventually, it will do less and less damage, which pushes you to try and change, your play style.
Well, and I'm sure once I got the hang of the basic fighting approach, I'd be like, all right, I want something else now. What else do you have? So it's good in that sense, but.
And every fighter is extremely different, which is what I enjoy about it the most. There is your typical I'm a big brute kind of guy. Superman, he'll take punches all day. Shaggy, he doesn't do many combos, but he will quickly get rid of someone. But there are characters like Bugs Bunny where he doesn't really combo. You have to use his tools, like a big rocket ship or digging in his box of treasures. Gotcha. And I'll mention it one last time, like I did last week. Tom and Jerry don't fight you; they fight each other. That's genius. That's genius. Love it.
Smart ways.
It is free to play. I recommend giving it a shot. it's definitely rough around the edges. It's no Smash Brothers, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it grows, and I've not felt inclined in any way yet to pay any money. Doubt I ever will, because it's just cosmetics, and I don't care about that.
Sure.
So fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to the future of this game.
Cool.
I'm
Multiverses.
amazed at how much money people spend on cosmetic stuff for games.
Are we going to talk about the dude in Diablo in the news segment?
Oh yeah,
yeah. We'll talk about it in the news
You
segment.
can. You can.
All right. Yeah, I will. And Antonio sounds like he's got something to say about it. All right, I got 2 more real quick. One is lawn mowing simulator.
Oh, great!
Because you mentioned this, Stu, and I was curious. It was free on Epic Game Store, so that's why I played it.
Now, just gonna stop you, right?
Just stop me right here.
Don't tell me you didn't go past the tutorial, because if you're another person who tells me that, I'm gonna scream.
I did make it past the tutorial.
Lawn. Oh my god!
I played beyond the tutorial. I'm not chinny.
That's okay.
I expected to do the tutorial and then be like, "Fuck this, I'm done." I actually kept playing after the tutorial.
Nice. I'm happy. Even if
I
you hate
did
it
the little
now.
cottage yard, and I got
Isn't it so like quintessentially British? I love that.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't care about that. But yeah, I expected to be like, all right, when I'm done with this, I'm uninstalling this, and then I didn't. I was like, oh, I might want to play it again later. And then I did the second yard, which is, I don't know, some museum or something.
It's quite big, the second one. It gets big soon, doesn't it? Quickly.
Yeah. So, and like, I don't know, there's something about it that was like satisfying. So I was just like,
it's soothing. It's just chill.
I mean, I guess it's also, I think there's something about figuring out how to get, just like when I mow our actual yard with our actual lawnmower, like, finding that spot, the maximum spot to overlap, so you don't leave a little strip of unmown grass, but you're not overlapping too much. So there's that, and then edging. The edger is weird because you have this handheld edger, but you have to be looking at a certain angle in order for it to really work. So when I first did it, I was going around the edge, and I'm like at a kind of at a horizontal angle a little bit, just so I could see the stuff around me. And then it wasn't actually cutting the grass. I would cut a strip and then look back, and it was all still uncut. I'm like, God damn it. So I needed to angle it down more. Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand why I like this.
You have a power mower at home now, don't you? You have one of these anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe just taps into something you've already got. The Duchess would love this game. She loves that power mower of hers.
I mean, look, the thing that it really is on The Simpsons when Marge was trying to get Bart and Lisa to do yard work, and they're like, no, let's go to this video game convention, and then Bart's like, I want to go on the yard work simulator. But when I tell you to... So anyway, that's what this is. It's the yard work simulator. It's stupid, but it's kind of fun. So whatever. I'll keep playing it maybe. Wow, and of course, the idea is that you're building a company and you can hire other people and all that. I haven't really done any of that yet, but maybe.
It's just fun mowing stuff.
It's, I guess, fun mowing stuff.
The thing is, though, I did one that I think it was either the third or the fourth one, and it took me over an hour.
Yeah.
Because it was enormous, right? And I'm like, I've just sat for an hour mowing a virtual lawn, and I hate mowing my own lawn.
You don't get the satisfying smell, though, at the end.
Yeah, no, but you get what I think you do get, though. You get the tweeting of the birds, the sounds of the countryside, a British summertime.
I live in the middle of nowhere in Scotland. I got that already. Thank you very much.
Yeah, true enough.
All right,
but it's way better than it has any right to be.
Yes, it is. All right, and finally, my last game I'm talking about real quick is No Man's Sky. There's a new expedition out. It's not roguelike like the last one was, so I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. And I came to understand these expeditions are brilliant because, first of all, and I was explaining to the Duchess how Hello Games has, redeemed itself. Every update now, they coincide it with an expedition, so the expeditions kind of take you through the things in the update. So this latest update is all the stuff to your freighter. And I don't know if y'all ever played this game before, but your freighter has traditionally been just a big ship that you can store things in. That's pretty much all it's ever been. And then you have like a fleet that you can send on missions so that you get money and, resources and stuff when you send these, it's kind of like in Assassin's Creed when you send assassins to do missions and stuff. It's like this mini game that you have on the side. So this new update that they've got, the freighter update or whatever it's called, expands the freighter a lot. You can make entire rooms, and they've added things like there's a room now where as soon as you warp into a galaxy, it instantly scans the galaxy. And so it'll tell you what each of the planets has, which is really nice because normally you have to fly around and like look at the planet and scan it manually. So it's kind of cool that your freighter has the option to like just tell you the information. And these expeditions, you know, they really get you going because in the regular game, you start off obviously with nothing and you have to slowly make money and all that. These expeditions are just throwing money at you. They're throwing nanites at you. You do the most basic part of the expedition, you know, find 3 animals. And you find 3 animals and it's like, here's 10,000 nanites. And normally you're bopping around the galaxy like, oh, here's a crashed spaceship. It gives me 20 nanites. Yay, I have 20 nanites. And then, you know, that's the kind of level you're at. In these expeditions, they're just like, here's 10,000 nanites. Here's 20,000. You're like, yes, because they want you to be up and running. They want you to be doing the fun stuff, and it's not based on like slowly build your way to surviving. So here's the thing. I think these expeditions are genius because what's the problem with Rust, Minecraft, Dinkum at a certain point? Well, the problem is that you reach a point where there's no reason to go back to it, right? Mm-hmm. And
well, I had that fear with this game. That's why I stopped playing.
Exactly.
I don't know whether
I do too.
I don't know whether that's particularly true of Minecraft because you continually could come up with something new to build.
Yeah, but you don't.
Well, you could.
I mean, you could, but we all have had the experience of reaching a point with our building where we're like, all right, I've built a lot of stuff. I don't have anything I'm dying to build now. And so you're right. It's always there, but you know what I mean? Especially in a game like this where there is an end goal to get to the center of the universe or whatever, but it's shit. And it's always been shit. So there's, you know, there's no meta thing. In Minecraft, it could be a lot of people go kill the Ender Dragon, right? But I've never been interested in that. I don't care about any of that.
No, it's about building shit, isn't it?
Right, exactly. So anyway, the point is, these expeditions are giving us a reason to go back to the game. And every time a new expedition launches, a lot of people go flooding back to the game, and then the Reddit explodes again with people talking about the expeditions, and there's activity. So it's a really smart move. And they're not charging for them, which is also very interesting because a lot of games, you know, like Destiny, they're just putting out content, but it's all give us $10, give us $15. Here's a new season. Here's a new battle pass or whatever it is. But Hello Games is like, we're going to give you a whole bunch of free shit. And my guess is that they're making bank off of all the excitement that comes every time one of these expeditions drops. So I just think it's a really smart move, and it's done something that, you know, these types of games haven't done before, which is lure you back in with something that has a purpose to it.
Yeah, what I think is kind of cool for me is that they could have easily abandoned this game when they got that much shit when it launched.
Oh, yeah.
They've easily just gone, you know what, let's just do something else, fuck it. Yeah. Everyone hates us, everyone hates the game, they were all expecting this and we give them this. They all hate us, what's the point?
And it would have been easier to start something else rather than try to like... Because I think what they did, I think it's driven by ego in some ways, but that's okay. Everybody's driven by ego in various ways. I think what they said was, we want you to have the experience that we promised, or we want you to get something closer to what's actually in our heads. And we know this game isn't it now, but maybe in 5 years it will be. Yeah. And now it is.
And it is.
It is.
It is.
It really
props
is.
to them.
So if you hated No Man's Sky when it came out, go back and give it another try, because it's a very different game now.
Yeah, I have nothing but admiration for them.
Yeah,
because like you said, they could have easily just given up and just.
I'll give you one more example of how they fit. Right, and this is specific to the expedition, but you could do it in other ways too. One of the mods you get in the game, you don't have to install it. It's part of the game. You can in your multi-tool, you get this boost to your scanner. So normally when you scan an alien monster or whatever, you get 500 credits. These boosts will it'll multiply whatever reward you get for identifying animals or plants or minerals by 10,000%. So suddenly you're getting 100,000 credits every time you scan a new animal. And it's like, usually that takes a lot of work. You go looking for alien bones and you might find a very rare one and that gives you 100,000 credits. Now you're getting it, scan that animal, scan that plant, scan that rock. Woohoo, look at all my money. So it's a very nice,
So this is almost like No Man's Sky on acid. This is like, you know, This is No Man's Sky times a million.
It's
Like,
No
if you
Man's
wanna
Sky.
just-
But it's again, it's emphasizing the
get done
fun
quick.
parts of it rather than the grind
Yeah.
of getting money.
Yeah. If you want to just get done quick, play
Yeah,
this.
Exactly. And then
Oh, nice.
once
Something
you
for everyone.
once you finish the expedition, it converts to a regular game save, so you can go and do that other stuff in the game after you finish all the expedition stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I do like that. I like the fact that they're trying to cater to everyone.
They are, and they're and
You know
and,
what I mean?
and unlike a lot of games that try to do that, they're actually kind of doing it.
Yeah, no, it's impressive.
Yeah.
And the fact it's all free is so
all
impressive to
free.
me. That they
Yeah.
haven't charged for a single expansion
have
DLC
not.
or whatever.
That is mental.
Yeah.
That is mental.
It is because let's be honest.
free, no charge.
Who actually is the publisher of this?
I don't know.
They're self-published.
Are they? Well, that probably explains it then. Because
I
I'll tell
can't
you what,
imagine
if
that
these-
there's a parent company that's very happy about all these free updates.
Yeah, I was gonna say if this wasn't self-published, good God, you'd assume
It
whoever's
was self-published, yes.
Yeah, well,
Just
that makes sense because I was thinking anyone else would be like, oh, no, we've got to charge at least this for that. You can't give it away for free. What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
Well, they must have sold enough enough copies of the game to be happy. Do you know what I
That and the
mean?
ports, I guess. Because it's on Mac, it's on iPad, it's on
Yeah,
Switch
it's on everything.
natively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's impressive.
Yeah,
I've
suppose so.
nothing but admiration and praise for them now. You know what I mean? Everyone's shit on them when they first came out, but
Good reason.
this is the turnaround of turnarounds in the history of turnarounds. So well done them. No, it
Yeah.
is impressive.
Agreed.
Right, I think is it time for some news? Oh no, I've got another game.
I'm done.
I'm lying. I have actually got another game.
Go ahead,
to talk
Stu.
about.
Finish us off with your last game.
I have a game called Shock Troops.
Shock Troops.
I forgot about this. Now, I have to admit, right, I was a little bit. Well, we'd had a night and I'd had a few beers, so I was a tiny bit tipsy.
Stu was
Alright,
plastered.
I wasn't plastered, but I was a little bit tipsy, and everyone had gone to bed. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, I'm playing a new VR game for ages. What's on the store?
I haven't played a
So-
new VR game for ages. It's been a week.
What's on the
I haven't
store?
played a new VR game.
And this was cheap, and it's only about $7.99. It was very cheap.
See, it's so funny because on Steam, $7.99. I'm like, $7.99? Are you taking a piss?
It's quite cheap, and it's got good. It had decent reviews. So I'm like, you know what? First person shooter, Doom like it said. So I'm like, well, I do. I'll give it a go. It's all right. I wasn't blown away. And the
Yeah.
first enemies you encountered, they're just like these weird flat disc things. I was expecting Doom enemies, like lots of blood and stuff. And I
Yeah.
kind of didn't get that. And then I got to the second level. So I finished the first level. And there's some quite cool stuff. I mean, there's a train journey thing, which is this that you see now. And it's like, you've got to dodge all this stuff. And there's loads of these enemies keep spawning while you're trying to get to wherever it is you're going. It's well done for what it is.
Except
You know
the
what I mean? I
monsters
was
are just like CD-ROMs.
yeah, like this. But there was some different monsters.
I do prefer streaming, so seeing a CD in 2022 does terrify me.
Yeah, exactly.
Physical media.
exactly. But when I got to the next level, which is the end of this, there were some enemies, but they just looked like they were just flat cutouts. Like from a really old cartoon from the 70s.
Okay.
They weren't animated at all. They were just sort of like, I don't know, bouncing around, with, I don't know, you can see them here, look.
Yeah, they're just sort of floating. They look like triangles.
Yeah, and there was some on the ground that were like spacemen, but they didn't really animate at all either.
Eesh.
It looks like something me and you would have played in Rec Room.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a bit like a Rec Room game. That's quite a good way to look at it. But it's well done. The guns feel good. The shooting feels quite good. I don't know whether I could just get my head around the art style of it.
There's no zoom on
Somehow.
there's no scope on the rifle, it looks like. Which, I mean, I can't imagine how you would
I
in
don't know whether
VR.
there
but-
is. No, there isn't. Yeah, sometimes you do get them and you hold it up to your eye and it obviously turns into a scope. So that
You're doing
does happen.
Farpoint with the toy gun. Did I ever show you the stupid PSVR toy gun?
Oh, yeah, I've seen one of those.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
terrible.
right there. I can grab it really quickly. It literally is like a toy gun that has a light up ball at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen them. It's not terrible. It's just not what I was expecting. Is probably the best way to put
Not
it.
terrible, just not what I was expecting.
Yeah, it's playable. It's more than playable for the price, and it's kind of fun.
All right.
But I was expecting like Doom type enemies, scary monsters.
Well,
and
at least
stuff.
blood of some kind, yeah.
Yeah, just like
Some
blood
sort of
flying
tentacles. How
everywhere.
hard is that?
See, look at this space dude. He's not animated. He just slides along.
Yeah.
I don't
There it
know.
is.
I think this would be a
There's the toy
pass for
gun.
me, but
Oh, look
Wow.
at that. Beautiful.
That's
That's for the
something.
PlayStation VR. That's for the PlayStation VR.
Let's make it look as little like a gun as possible. We don't want anyone to get shot in a
Yeah.
Walmart buying this.
But like, imagine your significant other walks in. You have a glowing blue headset on already. These big headphones on. You're moving
And you
around
have
a
this
toy gun. You would reconsider
ergonomic
things, wouldn't you?
plunger, in your hands. It looks like a big
Exactly.
D.
I'm gonna hold this for the rest of the string and look like an idiot.
Okay.
So if someone comes by, they're gonna think
There
who
you
the
go.
hell I am.
The other thing I would say is it's hard to complain for $7.99 because it's
Not for me, it's
exactly
not.
breaking.
I could easily complain for that much.
Steam has ruined how much I pay for
Yeah,
games.
it
I will
has.
say that.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, the
But
reason I
you
flogged
found
off my
like you
Quest
feel like
is
you're
I was
getting.
stuck to the store.
Yeah.
I
I
think
feel like
it's-
you're
I
getting
think it's-
value, Stu.
Yeah, I think it's worth the $7.99. It's just not
Okay.
what I was expecting. I wanted more monsters.
Yes.
The environments
Actual
look great. I mean,
monsters,
when you
yeah.
actually look around the planets and stuff, look amazing.
Eh,
And the environments themselves look pretty good. It's just the monsters. If they just sorted them out as well,
Come on.
it would have been
get some
fine.
monsters. Give us
Do
some
you know what I
love.
mean? It's
Yeah.
I
like
do indeed.
everything else is so well done. You
Yeah.
just need better monsters.
Better monsters.
I don't know how else to put it because everything else looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hear you.
Get some copy. If you're gonna do a Doom game, copy Doom. It's fine. No one will care.
Yeah.
Sadly, the Doom game on VR is pretty average. I have it on Steam.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
that good.
This would be better with Doom type enemies.
Hmm.
Anyway, it
Anyway.
nearly got there. It just
Yep.
missed. Unfortunately,
Swing and a miss.
I know it's so close. It's so bloody close.
All right.
Uh,
shall we
right,
do
so
some
news.
news?
Yeah, there's no emails. All Speakpipes this week. No.
Oh, my goodness.
Putting news first.
Down in the
you
chat,
can
by the
bring
way,
whatever
and
you
look.
want up in a minute. I'll start with a story.
Okay.
This is going to be hard for both of you to believe.
Uh-oh.
But Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still coming, apparently.
No, I saw
Did
something
you-
about that. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
They've announced it, 3 times now in the last 14 years? Oh, it's still coming.
Yes.
Don't worry. It's not done. But they've got another new lead writer. This thing is in the doldrums, isn't it? It's like,
Apparently.
oh, yeah, it's never coming. They showed it at E3. Was it 3 years ago? Like a whole new trailer and everything. Don't worry, it's still coming.
Something like that. Because I remember there was a thing about like getting your art submitted to be put in the game. I remember because it was possessed. It was shown by a celebrity. I forget who. I want to say Elijah Wood, but I don't remember who it was.
But
Yeah.
when this will
Definitely.
ever get released is the fact they're getting a new writer at this point means they're still probably not that far into production, doesn't it? I want to say.
I guess.
I'll be amazed if it ever gets released. It's just craziness, I think.
You know, you never know. I mean, things happen where we think things aren't going to come out, and then they do. So you
Yeah,
know, we'll see.
10th of December 2018, the last trailer came out.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Fingers
So that's how
crossed,
long
man.
ago it is.
It could be good. Probably won't be.
I think it'll be terrible. It's going to be one of these games that's been in production hell for that long. When it eventually does come, it'll just be fucking awful.
No one can say.
I never even played the first one, so I don't know what all the fuss is about.
I did. I played the game
not
back
bad.
in the day, and I mean that's the thing is that this game had a cult following. The first one had a small but dedicated fan base, and I think their excitement was infectious. And I wasn't blown away by the game back in the day, but I think, I remember Feminist Frequency did a video about it one time about how it was a female protagonist who wasn't overly sexualized. She was smart, but there were class elements, and she's a woman of color. Like that game did a few things right, not just in terms of the gameplay, but also in terms of like the stories it was telling. And I think the second one has the potential to do even more of that, but it probably won't. So I don't want to get our hopes up.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm missing something
Yeah.
because I don't understand all the fuss, I guess.
It's also like a self-perpetuating cycle, you know what I mean? Some people get amped up, and then people are like, ooh, there's an audience to sell a story about this game, and every little thing that happens, they're like, people want to hear about that, people want to hear about that. And then the news stories, by their sheer volume, make people go, well, it must be important. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's just a game that's going to
This one's going to shock you, Duke.
Okay, I'm ready. Holding on to the edge of my
GameStop.
seat. Yes.
GameStop NFT Marketplace
Yes.
sold indie games without permission.
I'm starting to rethink a lot of my assumptions about capitalism now. Are you
I
serious?
know. I can't believe this, can you?
Jesus
That
fucking
GameStop
Christ.
would stoop to something like that. And
Why?
sell
I
stuff
want to
that
know why
people
anybody's
want
buying anything from GameStop or anything that got NFT on it. Hasn't people learned yet?
Oh, no.
NFTs are a dead end. They're not going anywhere.
Indie games have reportedly been popping up without the proper missions on GameStop's new NFT marketplace, and developers are not very happy about it.
Duh.
So there you go.
Okay.
Apparently the games Worm Nom Nom and Galactic Wars. I don't even know what these are. And
You haven't played Worm Nom Nom? Oh, man.
Oh,
you
I can't believe
lived.
I've played Worm. I can't believe they're selling an
Fuck is
NFT on a
Worm
game I've
Nom
never
Nom?
heard of.
You know what? I
Worm
wouldn't be
Nom.
surprised if this was a ploy by Worm Nom Nom.
Just to get some publicity.
Yeah, exactly. Ridiculous.
I mean, it worked.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
it is. Well, we're talking about Worm Nom Nom.
Exactly. Everyone's talking about it now. It's a new Call of Duty.
Yeah, Worm Nom Nom. Here's a little silly bit of news, but
Yes.
Liverpool star Diogo Jota's gamer celebration is breaking the fourth wall in the new FIFA game.
FIFA.
So basically, what this guy did, he was in the middle of a FIFA tournament, like playing FIFA.
Okay.
Got a phone call from Liverpool saying, "Oh, you need to get your ass down here. We're playing a game this afternoon." So he was in the middle of playing in a real tournament for FIFA.
Yeah.
Had to stop, go and play in a real football match.
Dude.
Scored a goal, and his goal celebration, he sat down on the pitch and pretended to be playing FIFA.
So now in the video game, there's a person playing a game, pretending to play the video game in the game.
Exactly, and his goal
God.
celebration in the game.
Dude, are you
is
being
him
sarcastic?
pretending to
I don't
play
even know
FIFA.
anymore.
Oh my god!
Jesus Christ.
I can't lie. I do quite like that. I think it's kind of funny.
It is kind
that
of
they
funny,
didn't
but
do
it's
that.
also weird. Like, I can totally see a bunch of people watching him and being like, why? What is he even doing? He's like just sitting down, fiddling his thumbs around.
Yeah, but if anyone who knows the story will not.
I
will
know,
obviously go, "Ah, no, I see what they did there. They put it in the game. I like that.
Hey.
But it's kind of cool.
Next,
He's
he'll
winning as well, by the
he'll
way.
be moving his feet around, and it's like, oh, he's playing game, but he was just doing it while he was playing the video game. After he had finished playing the real game, I would just
I
keep
know.
flipping back and forth between reality and fiction.
Oh my god!
Unless things
Well, apparently,
change, I want to say this next FIFA will be the last one called FIFA 20. This next one will
Really?
be the last one called FIFA.
yeah,
the
'cause
license
there's no
is,
license
is
anymore,
ended.
have they?
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
And they're
this
not
next one, FIFA
re-upping it?
23, will be the last one. Which means
Basically,
they can finally make a video called Every FIFA Ever. Finally.
Exactly. So apparently, what
Finally.
EA have said is they're going to go to each club individually and do deals on a club
They
by
are
club
indeed.
basis.
so what's the game gonna be called?
football?
EA Sports FC is what the
Oh, really? FC.
name
Okay.
at the moment's been known as. And yeah, they are going from club to club. Like, so they just renewed
Interesting.
Juventus for 3 more years, for example, which is an Italian.
Which
football
kind of
club.
makes sense, really, when you think of it, because the smaller clubs, they won't have to pay as much.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
this is
very
funny.
true, very true.
I subscribe to Peacock so I can watch Parks and Rec because that's the only place to watch it right now. And if you subscribe to Peacock, you get access to the Premier League. So now I'm getting these ads that are like, "Hey, check out Man U," and I'm like, I might watch that. I don't know. It's the only sport
I don't
I've
know.
ever
Have you ever
actually
watched
chosen to
soccer?
watch.
Have you watched British
Yeah.
soccer?
Yeah, I've watched some football in my life. I like football, all right.
There you
I mean, I
go.
haven't watched any yet, but I might. It's
There you
more
go.
likely for that I'll watch that than baseball or basketball or American football. Those sports are
That
boring
is
as
funny.
shit. But man, football, center to halfback, goes back to center, goes back to halfback, holds it. Simpsons.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. I think that people who work at Valve and for Steam are a little bit bored.
Why do you say that?
I feel like they're running out of things to do
Go on.
because
Go
they've now
on.
got support for Nintendo Joy-Cons on Steam.
Okay.
It's almost like, what shall we do today?
You know what they should do today instead of worrying about Joy-Con access?
Joy-Cons,
They
we
should
haven't
be
got
putting
support
all
for
the
them yet.
goddamn furry sex games off somewhere to the side. Every time I log in, there's some new game that's like Hitler's sex
What, like-
furry shit. God.
Is that a direct recommendation
And
for
word
you?
nom nom.
Just saying. You know,
I
look
wish
up
it was just
algorithms.
Worm Nom Nom. I wouldn't mind Word Nom Nom if it wasn't sex virtual novel, sex
Yeah, I know.
times with big breast. Like, they're not just big-breasted women. They're ginormously a person couldn't live like that. It's just like chest taking up 7 times the size of their head. It's
That's
so
the point of games, to live out your
ridiculous.
fantasy, man.
Yeah, well, if that's your fantasy,
yeah,
you're
it is.
fucked up. I'm sorry. These people got problems.
Can I just say I can only say none of the recommendations pop up for me. I don't know about
It's not
yours,
recommendations. I'm talking about the new game feed at the bottom when you scroll down.
And like the new and trending and new
Yeah,
releases.
dude, look at that. He waits for someone to recommend it some shit, VR shit, and then
you are right. Do you know what the top new and trending is? I've
now.
literally just scrolled down. Do you know what it
furry
is?
sex shit.
No, only Fap Simulator 2.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. That
There it is.
sounds
That's the
wonderful.
first
It's
one.
even
Look,
got-
Steam, I'm not mad that they exist. I'm not turning on my filter so I don't see anything adult. I don't mind adult games. First of all, these games are not adults. These are made by and for 13-year-olds, okay? Let's just put that right out on the table, okay? If you're playing this, you're 13. Maybe not physically, but mentally, all right? And all you got to do, Steam, is just have Steam After Dark. It's like when you went to a video rental place back in the day, you didn't walk in and it instantly had, Debbie Does Dallas, sex porn. There was a back room with a beaded curtain. Fine. Go back there if you want to rent something adult. Steam After Dark this way. That's all I want.
They just used to have them on the top of the rotunda in our local shop because they only had a rotunda. You know, one of those is Duke.
Rotunda, like a rotating display?
Yeah, that's all they had because they only had about, I don't know, 30 videos.
Okay.
And they just used
So
to
the
have them on
nasties were up top?
There's about 6 of them on the top row.
Well, you do what you got to
Yeah,
do.
that's where they put them.
I still see them in CEX and stuff, like the top row, and I've always wanted to see someone point up there and just get one.
Well, the reason you're
Always
never
wanted
going to
to
see that, Antonio, because the person who's likely to say that is looking around first to make sure no one's watching, and then they go.
Maybe I should break this taboo. Maybe
Yeah,
I
there you
should.
go.
Go to the busiest smelly shop I can find.
Can we just say,
and
in
point
case you
at
missed the point,
the top row.
if you've got Nintendo Joy-Cons,
Right, sorry, Joy-Cons. You can play games on Steam.
You can play games on Steam with your Joy-Cons.
Games like
now, apparently,
Nazi
in beta.
furry sex simulator. Yeah.
Fap
I mean, the motion
Simulator
controls
2
would be
apparently.
really
You
good for
can
only
play
Fat
that.
Simulator.
In fact, I'll be honest, Joy-Cons might be quite good for Fap Simulator.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
saying.
That's the
Exactly,
same
thank
thing
you.
Antonio just
Just saying.
Right.
Okay.
It's got an excuse over there.
Another couple of little things. I've been listening to this today, but there was BBC Proms did a video game music thing with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
really good. So I've been listening to that today. It's on BBC Sounds. It's on BBC iPlayer.
I got you.
Live from the it is live obviously because it was recorded, but it was at the Royal Albert Hall, and it's called something like 8-bit.
We'll do it live.
8-bit to infinity.
Huh.
There you go. That's what
And
it's
beyond.
called. 8-bit to infinity. And it's really good. And they start off with all the... What's kind of cool is how they get the 8-bit sound by using a lot of the percussion instruments in the orchestra
Oh, yeah?
to try and get that 8-bit sound at the beginning. And then they move on to stuff like Shadow of the Colossus is in there,
Okay.
Legend of Zelda, Echo the Dolphin,
Yeah.
Secrets
Really?
of Mana.
pretty
Not necessarily the most obvious things.
Well, they don't want to just do Super Mario and Zelda. They want to
No, they didn't do Super
branch
Mario.
out
But
and give
Zelda's
some unusual
obviously in there.
stuff. Yeah.
I'll tell you track listing actually. 'cause
Got to
I've
be
been listening to
curated.
it
We don't need the whole track listing. We get the
No,
idea.
but I'll give you some of the highlights.
Give us
There's
a
only
couple good ones though. Ones that I'd be like, really?
But Stu
You know?
doesn't
Yeah.
ever just give highlights. He always reads every item on the list.
I think you can just calm down. I can do what I want. I've got COVID. Leave me alone. So, sorry.
That reminds me of a joke. While you're waiting, Duke, have you seen Beavis and Butthead do the universe?
No. I saw the
There's
first
a great.
movie.
Let's just say what he just said reminds me of a great bit. I'll do the setup and that's it. Beavis and Butthead walk into a gender studies class and they learn about white privilege. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's the most I'd laugh in a good while watching a cartoon.
They put out the first episode of the new season. They put it out on YouTube, so people can see
cool.
it for free if you want. It didn't blow me away. I mean, it still had some of the magic. It was worth watching. Instead of music videos, they're watching like TikToks and stuff now, which is weird.
I heard that.
But it works. I mean, it's the thing that needs to be, deconstructed and commented on. So, there's that. All right, Stu,
Well, I
give
guess
us highlights.
At the time it was music videos. Now it's TikTok.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's the small chunks. Of
So
entertainment.
there's Final Fantasy 8 as opposed to 7.
8.
Yeah, when we 8.
Really.
I don't want to hear anything but this.
Yeah, it's not like
Let's just play that over and over for 2 hours. Ba, 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 ba.
Kingdom Hearts,
Okay.
Journey.
Eh.
What a great game, Journey. And of course, it couldn't be a video game soundtrack without Dear Esther. So there you
No,
go.
they are not playing Dear Esther.
They play Dear
What
Esther.
the
yeah.
shit? There's no good music in that. Here's all the music in Dear
Well,
Esther.
you'd be surprised. The London Symphony Orchestra can make anything sound good.
But that's not
And
even
Battlefield-
music. It's just like wood creaking.
Not necessarily.
God.
And Battlefield 2042.
None of the
there
Battlefield
you go.
has any good music.
Yeah, it was a weird eclectic mix of stuff,
Yeah, it
but not
is.
necessarily things you didn't automatically think of them playing.
Well, there's a
I
difference
kinda
between
liked
picking
it.
unusual stuff and picking stupid stuff.
Well, hold your assumptions till you listen to it, which you
No,
might.
I listened to the
I
Dear
watched
Esther
it
music when I
all
was
of
playing
it.
the game, and it would probably give me PTSD to listen to the music again.
Oh, God.
All right, what were we
Somebody's
talking about
gone
earlier,
melodramatic.
Antonio, that we were going to come back to?
Yeah, what's yours then? Well, let's hear your news.
Oh, yeah, the dude. Okay, so the thing with Diablo.
Diablo Immortal.
Diablo player can't find anyone to play with. Here. This is the most ridiculous thing ever. Okay, here we go. From GameBite.com. You ready? Let me mute this site so it doesn't start playing things. Fine, whatever. You can use cookies. Okay, a Diablo Immortal player. So, for those who don't know, Diablo Immortal is famously a pay to win. Like, it's all just give us money, give us money, give us money.
Slated, didn't it?
Right. And they did, and rightly so. I played it for like 10 minutes, and I was like, this is kind of cool, and then I lost interest. I should go back and play it, but who knows? All I've heard about it is negative, so I'm like, But people who, I don't know, some people like the gameplay. They just hate the fact that it's pay to win. Anyway, so here's the thing. Go away. All right. Pop-ups everywhere.
Oh,
A Diablo...
right here,
See, whoop, whoop. You know how you get all them pop-ups, don't you? Just saying.
Every website has them now is how. All right. A Diablo Immortal player... Shut up. A Diablo Immortal player has allegedly spent about $100,000 to level up their character, but can't find anyone to play with.
Wow.
It's fair to say it's been a controversial game. Grind, blah, 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 blah. Some players work out it could cost you $100,000 to max out a player. However, some even claim that $600,000 could be more of an accurate figure. Furthermore, a player also spent $25,000 on the game, but then deleted their account in protest. What the fuck? If these figures are true, it explains why Diablo Immortal generated a reported $24 million a month after its launch, because people are stupid.
Wow, it doesn't care. It doesn't even matter that it's a failure, does it?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Jesus
I mean, how do you define failure? That's the question.
Well, that's what I mean.
A content creator by the
God.
name of JT is All Business claims to have spent around $100K leveling up their avatar. Unfortunately for them, they've leveled up so much that online matchmaking won't pair them with other players. The content creators say they are contemplating involving lawyers as they can't play the game as intended. Well, you could have before you decided you wanted to be special and buy your way to the top spot.
Who has $100,000 to spend on that? I can't believe
exactly.
that's
Must
true.
be nice, man.
He does all right.
What the fuck? What kind of content is he creating? I'll tell you what he is. He's creating these porn visual novels that 13-year-olds on Steam
Maybe
are
that's
eating
what
up.
it is.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't even know what I think about that. I just think it's mental. Part of me, if he's a content creator, part of me thinks if he's done that just to do that story.
Well, exactly. Well, I mean, that's the thing. He wants to be like, how are you going to stand out from all the other people streaming Diablo Immortal? You become the top player. How do you become the top player? You pay to win.
Well, no, he might just
he won.
I can't get anyone to play with.
And now he gets more publicity by being like, I can't find anyone to play with.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot.
So when
I
he
just
starts
can't
up the
believe
game,
that's
it's
an
just
idiot.
the startup screen. That's all it is. He streams that for 2 hours, and he's like, I can't.
That's
It's
just
still
ridiculous.
trying to find a match.
Hardly Dan, by the way, says, is it worth listening to the Problems thing? Definitely. It's very good. You know, you might not like the game, but the music's great. Yeah, give it a listen.
What's up, all the
Very
chickens outside my window?
Oh, God, there's always chickens.
Sorry. Well, no, there's all right there. All
No, I
6
can't
of them.
hear it. I can't hear any chickens. Are they all just looking at you like some weird psycho
No,
chicken?
they're just hanging. I mean, there's like a rock
Scary.
wall, and then there's the fence, and they're all right in between the two of those. So
Just like
if I didn't think the
eyeballing.
camera would get all screwy, I would turn it around. Maybe I'm gonna try it. Let's see if I can do it.
I bet it's like one of those bloody...
Just undock
Can you see
yourself.
him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant they were just lined up at your window. That would be
No,
weird.
they're just
That'd have been
hanging
great.
out.
That would have been
Yeah, it
great.
would have been great.
Yeah.
Do some like weird like Wallace
The
and Gromit
Omen
eyeballing.
Chicken
Yeah.
edition.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the chickens.
They're the
Now,
chickens.
will I be able to
Like
get
the
it
chickens.
set back up for this?
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, it's perfect.
No,
We've
it's
met
not
the chickens.
perfect. My
It's
head
not
is...
far.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
It's
Any other
fine.
news? Or are we
No,
like done?
that's literally the news.
Okay, and we have no emails, and we have no speak
No
pipes.
emails. No one could be asked.
People, please send us some emails.
To be honest, it's
Podcast at
fine. I don't get
veterangamers.co.uk. Send us a speak pipe. I sent one last week. It was fun. Not really. But I did send one.
It's fine.
It wasn't too hard to do. Just go to veterangamers.co.uk and there's
Just do
button that says SpeakPipe. Just do it. You don't need to make an account or anything. You can do it right from your web browser or your phone.
Record
you have a
your
phone that looks
beautiful
like this.
voice.
Yeah, well,
us.
I don't have a beautiful voice, but I did my most beautiful attempt. So,
fine.
I guess it's time for shout-outs, huh?
Just before we do that, I have been binging loads of stuff because obviously I've had a lot of
what
time
you been
on my hands the last few
watching?
days.
Go on then. Hit us with what you've been watching.
I watched Trainwreck, Woodstock '99.
Oh, I heard about that. I'd be curious.
Wow. I don't even remember this as a thing.
Oh, man, I do.
But by God, I can't believe that happened.
Oh, yeah. It's like the Fire Festival before Fire Festival.
I mean, Fred Durst, good God.
Ugh. Well, that guy's always been a jackass.
Talk about
acclaimed director.
The fucking crowd going.
What did he direct?
It's called The Fanatic. It's one of the best, worst movies you can watch. It's got John Travolta playing a mentally challenged superfan of a film star.
Speaking of which, did you ever see the Patton Oswalt movie, The Fan?
It's on my watch list.
It's a really good. I really like that movie. I've liked Patton Oswalt's comedy for a long time. I didn't know if he could pull off a kind of dramatic role, but he really did. It's very good. I was very impressed by that movie.
It was like watching a car crash in slow motion.
Yeah. What platform is that on, Stu?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. I want to see it. I'm
curious.
It was
absolutely unbelievable. There was a bit at the end of Fatboy Slim was playing in the rave hangar.
Okay.
So he arrived, right? Well, he quite often started. So they'd all just been riled up by, was it Red Hot Chili Peppers?
I know Nine Inch Nails got people freaked out at one point.
Is this Woodstock 99, did you say, Stuart?
Yeah.
Is that Peace, Love and Rage? That one?
Yeah. No. It's just called Trainwreck, Woodstock 99 it's called.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to find it for you.
It's a 3-part documentary on that. So it's only just released. So anyway...
people have been whipped up by something.
So the people have been whipped up.
Yes.
And then the guy who was running the rave area said there was nowhere else for them to go.
Uh-oh.
There was nowhere else. So they've been whipped up, and the only place they could go that was open, like carried on till later, was the rave hangar. So all these people just descended on it. Fatboy Slim comes out. And obviously one of the first is Fatboy Slim is fucking in heaven. He quite often starts with that.
Yes.
So he has this playing, which obviously the crowd's getting even more riled up because he's got Fatboy fucking in heaven. Fatboy Slim is fucking in heaven. So this is all playing. And it just literally started his set, maybe about 10, 15 minutes into his set. And someone had stolen a van from outside somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
And driven it into the audience. So there's this big, massive van slowly rolling into the audience with people dancing on top of it. And obviously the guy who's running, it's like, oh my God, someone's going to get injured or killed or
driven over,
whatever. So the security sort of went in to try and stop this van and get it out of the place.
Yeah.
He said when he got there, the guy, he said someone had said they had a weapon, a machete inside.
Oof.
So he said, I was like, oh my God. He said, so I got to the van. He said, I opened the door and the guy who was driving it was completely stoned off his head. He said it was completely high as a kite.
Yes.
Driving this van. He said, and in the back was a girl of about 15 with no clothes on and a lad on top of her.
Oh.
And he said, and she was completely passed out. And I'm just like, it's unbelievable how they got to that level of baseness and did all that to each other. It was just, you've got to watch it to believe it. You can't believe it was way worse than Fire Festival. Because
nobody really got hurt in Fire Festival.
No, people were maimed, heads bleeding, raped. There was like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, I was going to say Lord of the Flies, man. It doesn't take much.
Yeah. But Susan wrote quite a bit to me. We're talking about it. And she's like, at Glastonbury, have a similar amount of people, like 300,000 people.
Right.
But there's multiple stages, multiple things going on. Right. So all those people are spread out, because there's 3 main stages. There's then another 4 different little stages. There's like a rave venue. There's like pubs.
It all comes down to management. Like how are the people being controlled?
Exactly.
And in Woodstock 99, they were like, whatever, man, the spirit of Woodstock was we just go to a farm and just groove. But that was, first of all, it was a very different kind of music being played.
It was on a military base.
Well, and I'm sure that, it's part of it. But
that didn't help because it was all concrete and it was red hot.
Yeah, well, there's that.
And then all the vendors were charging $4 for a bottle of water.
I remember that.
And they were saying that they took all the water off them when they went in at the gate. So they brought a load of bottles of water in, they confiscated it all.
I hate when
because they didn't want them to.
I hate when festivals do that.
Wanted them to buy it, and they said on the last few days they were selling it for $12 a bottle.
Ugh.
And they said that all of that stuff is what made it completely kick off. It was just everything combined together.
Smithers, we're at war. I'll begin stockpiling and hoarding.
And then the security were teenagers who had no idea about security.
It's like Action Park, man. Kids watching kids.
Called them peacekeepers. But what was funny, like Action Park, almost the same. There was a girl who was 14 at the time, and she said it was horrific. If you ask me now, would I do it again? Of course I would. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
Dude,
and it's
like, rite of passage, man.
What?
Well, we watched a movie that also is about an important cultural element, The Mask. This showed up. I don't remember. I was looking at movies on HBO.
It's a long time since I've seen that.
The Mask. I was like, huh. I remember liking that when I was a kid, but I don't know if it would stand up. It doesn't really. It's not a great film. But here's something I learned. It was the most profitable movie based on a comic book ever when it came out. Guess which movie based on a comic book became or overtook.
So it was afterwards.
After The Mask. It overtook it as the most profitable movie based on a comic book. Now, this came out in 1994, remember?
Yeah.
My guess would have been Spider-Man 2002.
No. After that.
Okay.
I'd have said
after that.
One of the Batman films.
Nope. After that.
After that.
After that. I know, right?
Oh.
I know, right?
Well, I could guess an answer that would be right.
You were close when you said Batman, though.
Okay. Oh, the Joker.
The Joker is the 2019. This held the record for most profitable movie based on a comic book from 94 to 2019. That's unbelievable.
I didn't like the Joker. I found it boring.
think the reason I think why is because the budget for this was relatively small. So, I mean, Jim Carrey, this was the movie. I mean, this after Ace Ventura and then Dumb and Dumber, like that's what made Jim Carrey a star. So he was still very new when he made this. And this was the first movie Cameron Diaz was in. So like, it's not a good film, and the Duchess was not on board for the first like half hour, but then the dog started doing things and she's like, oh, puppy. And then of course I knew that the dog was going to put the mask on at the end of the movie. And I'm like, I should tell her, no, let's make it a surprise. And then it was, and she was just like, he's wearing the mask. It was great.
The other recommendation I've got, which I've also binged the first 6 episodes, and Dan said this in the chat, Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
The Sandman. Oh, so good.
I've never read it. The Duchess was crazy into that for a while. A lot of my friends really got into it. I feel like I ought to read it before I watch it, but I feel like Watchmen, this is one of those things they had to do well or people would have just lost their shit.
They've got some good actors in there.
Yeah.
So not necessarily the most obvious people. Like the guy who's playing the lead role's not done a lot of anything really, mainly theatre work.
Okay.
Oh yeah, very good. And I also watched Boiling Point, which was awesome.
Hey, yeah. I'm watching it on a flight. Yeah, it's a really good one. Really good one.
That is.
Never seen it.
What a film! Stephen Graham is just on a whole other level of acting, and the woman, I don't know what her name is actually, who plays the sous chef, but she was just brilliant in it.
Did you Well, you've worked in it. Have you worked in an environment
I have worked in restaurants that are just like that. I've seen a lot of those situations. You probably wouldn't get them all in one night, to be fair. But what I thought was really, really clever was when the person, obviously with the nut allergy, had gone to the toilet. But what they were doing was obviously doing the makeup for when she came back. And I thought that was a really clever way of getting around the fact that it's a one-shot.
To give context to the viewer, this is a 2021 film. It's a one-shot, and it is a one-shot. There's no faux cuts like Birdman, for example. It is, and it's set in a 5-star, at least at the start, a 5-star restaurant, and it goes over one night's events of what goes on really. And
what goes
it
wrong
is a
can
one
go wrong.
And it is you can definitely tell it's a one because there are points where there is a dude walking for a minute to get back to the shot, And the only other bit of info I can say was this was the 4th take.
No, 3. They only did 3 takes. They did 3 takes. It was meant to do 8, so they were meant to do 8 takes originally. But The third take was the one that they used in the end, but because of COVID,
Correct.
they were
My apologies.
They were
You're
limited.
correct. My apologies.
Limited to the amount of takes he could do. So it was the third one that got the cup. There were only one. I think I saw one line that was fluff, but it just sounded natural because it's just like people talking. So you don't. What I really liked as well, there wasn't a real script. So they basically just gave them the scenarios. This is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to end. Just do it. And that's how they did every scene. So every scene was just kind of ad-libbed, really, which I thought was proper cool as well. And that made it more natural, I guess. But boy, oh boy, it is very close to what it really is. And I used to work with chefs who worked in London, and they used to take cocaine to get through the shifts. That was just the norm. That was just standard stuff in London because obviously they were working 13, 14-hour shifts. And obviously on edge all the time. So there's nothing that is in that movie is far-fetched or didn't happen in the catering industry.
There you go.
All that stuff.
Just like The Mask.
Exactly, just like The Mask. I like the fact that the code for getting the drugs was, shall I take the bins out?
There you go.
You want me to take the bins out, boss? Oh, yeah, lad, go and get the bins out. And that was to go and get the drugs for everyone.
Okay, before this becomes gabbing about movies, let's do some
It's time for a shout out. Hey!
Not that gabbing about movies isn't fun, but that's not what people tuned in for this.
Well,
all right, I'm going first. I'm going to shout out Steve Pemberton. I'm sorry, dude. He sent me a story a while back, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I stand corrected. I haven't made time to read it. I will. I'm going to. I'm sorry. Amar has also been sending me stuff on Twitter, and Fraser asked me to join his Discord. That's not really what happened, but it's funny for me to present it that way. Yeah. Velvet Thunder, Amar, every American must be accompanied by an adult was a sign outside a pub. I thought that was pretty funny. And yeah, everybody who is listening or joined us in the chat, Big Hoss, Soul Brother #1, of course, SLH, Ian, Quaxel, Steve Pemberton, as I said. Thank you, everybody who's been in touch with us in the past. Somebody send an email, someone send a Speakpipe. They make the podcast so much more enjoyable when we have a little bit of community involvement. So thank you all. And shout out to the Duchess, who's been awesome throughout this whole COVID affair. And I hope she continues to be negative.
There you go, same. Yeah, I'm going to shout out Kate, who up to today has been looking after me and shoving stuff through the conservatory door.
Yeah.
Until she tested positive today and was very sad, unfortunately. But I wasn't
Feel
shocked,
better,
if I'm
Kay.
being honest. I know, yeah. So hopefully she'll be feeling better soon. Yeah, I will also hopefully shout out Valve because I've got some feeling that the Steam Deck's email's coming tomorrow. I feel like it's my time.
Come on,
it's my time.
Oh, I want to shout out Antonio, too, for filling in. Thank you, Antonio.
Yeah, thanks, Antonio. This Monday or next Monday. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So I'm excited. Hardly Dan ordered his on the 19th of July, and he's got his now.
You know, it's funny. I saw Hardly Dan on Twitter talking about,
coming.
I'm going to load some emulators on this Steam Deck. I'm like, really? You have a Steam Deck and you're using it for emulated games from like the Super Nintendo? What are you doing?
Why not? You can use it for anything.
I know you can, but why not use it for like the latest Steam games? Come on.
Yeah. Why not? So yeah.
I didn't want emulators really.
So fingers crossed. It'll be here tomorrow. Well, not the actual thing, but my email telling me I can order it.
Right.
Although I did hear something worrying. Apparently, Bongo the Sane, he pre-ordered one and he just got a refund out of the blue.
Oof.
He didn't get his. So I don't know what the whole story was. Dan who was telling me, I'm like, I don't know what the whole story there is. But they will if you don't complete your order within 72 hours of getting the email. They just do an automatic refund of your deposit. So
I can't imagine he would have just waited around.
No, I know. No, but whether he missed the email or they didn't send the email, I don't really know.
Right.
I don't know what the reason was. So I've been checking the website weekly and my email inbox. So I've been checking them both. So
yeah,
hopefully mine will be here. And that's about it really for me. And obviously the community and Antonio for helping and Chinny for not being here. Bless him. I'm assuming he's working in Scotland. I don't think he's there on.
He is. I asked him because I was curious. Like, you're in Scotland. There's like 6 places you can go. Are you near me? And he said, "Yeah, but I'm working." So no.
Yeah. I assumed he'd be working. So yeah, and hopefully I'll be negative by next week and might be able to get a few days away the week after. Depending on how Kay is. So we're just gonna wait and see, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn it. And that's it for me, Antonio.
Shout them out.
Well, you two shout out your lovely partners, and I'm not going to do that because I'm a massive dick.
Nice. I
Jess,
like it.
Love you. I will shout out one thing, and it's an event. The Edinburgh Fringe Festival is starting up soon, and I've spent way too much money on many films because I'll be finally attending a film festival in person after all these years, and also lots of comedians and artists. I'm really looking forward to that.
Anybody we've heard of that you're looking forward to seeing?
Probably not, but that's kind of why I'm enjoying it. So I've booked time to see people, but I've also booked time to walk around and just enjoy the ambience of it because I've heard it's amazing. The Edinburgh
How about
Fringe,
this? Is there a show that you know of that you're looking forward to the most?
Okay. There is an Australian comedian called Randy Feltface I'm looking forward to a lot. It literally is just a puppet comedian, but really good show. You can find his stuff on YouTube. There's a great bit he's done called Randy Buys a Bookshelf Off Gumtree. That's a good little 20-minute story.
Okay.
In terms of film festivals, no, apart from After Sun, which is getting its UK debut. It did well at Sundance and film festivals. A lot of the films I'm seeing are not released yet, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like in a film festival thing.
Sure.
In that kind of environment.
Yeah. When we went to Edinburgh,
We're actually saying that.
There was a we went looking because there's like a lot of live shows. It's kind of a year-round thing now. People will like do shows prepping for the Fringe Festival, or maybe we were there like shortly before it happened. But anyway, there was this dude.
Were there? I can tell you.
Oh, it was right after we met with y'all. So whenever that was, it was in the summertime. So it was, you know, around this time because it was recently the anniversary, wasn't it, of us meeting?
If it was any time in August, then yeah, because it starts.
So I guess it would have been
roughly.
So anyway, this dude did this monologue about this trip he took around the world on a boat, and it was like really interesting because he didn't just talk about his own experiences. He brought in like mythology and like legends from India about, you know, seafarers and his dad's trips on boats and stuff. I was just like, that's really cool. It was a very non-pretentious but very interesting little monologue, and he had some cool visuals and stuff. So I was like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Do you know that reminds me one of the coolest stories I've a similar sort of monologue type thing. When I used to work in the hospitals, there was one of the managers there was a major in the TA.
Oh.
And she used to run sort of, you know, like the hospital tents and stuff. So she was quite high up in the TA, and she used to go and do tours of duty in Afghanistan and what have you. And she just basically told us like a week in the life of, you know, of her life in the TA, running and what like the events that occurred just in 1 week. And she had like pictures and stuff that she'd taken while she was there and stuff. And it was so interesting.
Cool.
You know, just listening to us talk about this snapshot of what it was like to be in a war zone, running a hospital tent, you know what I mean? And having to look after Afghanistan patients, even though they had English, you know, and American patients in the same tent and stuff in different bits of it.
That was tricky, no doubt.
Yeah, it was just so interesting. Very interesting.
We cut you off. Anything else you wanted to shout out?
No, that's fine. I just wanted to mention one last thing that I'm looking forward to at the Fringe Festival. One film I will be seeing that you will have known is the 100th anniversary of Nosferatu. Is around this time, and I'm seeing a midnight screening of that.
Wow,
which I'm really
that's
looking forward
cool.
to. So
that should be a nice live experience. Yeah.
Have you seen it before?
No, I've always wanted to see it in 35mm live, so like, you know, authentic as can be, and I'm getting that.
Hopefully, you don't have too many like obnoxious nerdlinger like cut out the scene from the.
But I don't think there's any of that for Nosferatu.
I hope not. Yeah, that sounds.
Well, I doubt
really
there will be for the film festival in general. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. That is my main shout out.
Go ahead.
No, please do. Go.
Yeah, we saw Nope in the theater, and it wasn't quite the same. Like, we saw Us and Get Out. Those were experiences. When we saw those in the theater, it was packed. This was pre-COVID. So it was, like, packed, and there were so many people. And, you know, when the moments happen on the screen, the audience, yeah. With Nope, it wasn't nearly that same level of, like, you know, critical mass in the room. So I miss that, you know. That's the thing to have. So it sounds like you could have the potential, Antonio, for a really good group of people. Yeah, watching that.
That's the thing. That's why I wanted a film festival, because I have yet to have that kind of experience where everyone is there with the same kind of mutual feeling. Really,
yeah.
Do you catch my drift?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And
absolutely.
Basically just respecting the film, because I'm seeing about 10 new films and about 6 old films. So I'm seeing, for example, After Sun, which is a Japanese film, and it's just talking. Like all it is just talking. It's about
Alright.
people in a room. That's about it, really.
Okay. My dinner
And
with
I'm just
Andre
looking forward to
style.
being in an audience that respects that. You know.
Sure.
Nope. I'm very jealous because it's not coming out until the end of the month in the
Really?
UK. So
Oh, it's good.
yeah, I
Alright.
covered it for work, but I had to still I had to edit the trailers and all the pre-release stuff, but kind of half look away because I don't like watching trailers and I do want to see this film.
Wait, you edited trailers?
It's part of what I do for my work. Yeah. So
No, I know, but were you
part of
editing trailers for Nope?
No, like hype things for
okay, I got you.
for one of the companies I work for.
Okay,
you know, here's what's coming out
fair
soon
enough.
that you might want.
So you were
watch in
trying to
cinema.
kind of have a
Yeah.
blackout, but work kind of gave you glimpses of things.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
All I know is there's a sky. That's all I know.
It's very good. There's a lot to talk about and think about, so I'll be curious to talk to you about it once you've seen it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Anyway,
All right.
I'll stop there.
We done?
I think we're done.
I think so.
Thanks for
I
listening,
think so.
everybody.
Yeah,
If you
thank
like
you.
this
Thank you, everyone.
podcast, there is another site you should check out, which is called VGHub.net.
It technically still exists. Go check it out.
Yeah, it does.
Won't you?
That's weird.
Why
That's suspicious.
don't you?
That's weird.
Why don't you just cigarettes for instead? Sitting at home, watch TV, turning up smoke. Stop saying hello. Why don't you?
That was the sound effect. That totally threw me out. Oh my god.
I totally forgot. I was going to talk about how I've been playing Destiny 2 and No Man's Sky, meaning I've been back into space.
Space. I love space. I'm the best at space. Gotta go to space.
I had the whole
There you
thing
go.
queued up, and then I forgot to do
Oh,
it.
Oh, brilliant.
one last
hey, by the
thing
way,
sent
Wait,
to you,
Antonio
Eric,
has one last thing.
before-
Go ahead, Antonio.
go on.
No, Stuart, mine's a silly YouTube video, so please take it away.
I was going to say, there is one positive of us both having COVID now.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Okay.
You do what the fuck I like in a week's time. I can go where I want. I can go to a concert, cinema, restaurants. Who gives a shit? Because I've had it. I don't need to worry anymore that I'm going to catch it. It's all great.
Except
just
you
do
can
whatever.
easily
Never
catch
gonna
it
die.
again, like the President of the
Yeah,
United
but
States
not
did.
a week afterwards.
Yes, he got it as soon as he tested negative. The next day, he tested positive again.
Nah, it's probably still
it can
got a
happen.
negative test. Probably just got a negative test.
And you
well,
might
now I'm
have it
gonna
in you
fucking-
spewing it around and getting other people sick.
No, but once I'm like in a week's time when I'm clear,
I'm just saying.
I'll tell you, I'm going everywhere. I'm going to go to
careful.
watch a
We're
music
still in a
concert.
pandemic.
I'm
All
going
right,
to some
whatever.
sort of festival.
Antonio, what were you going to
Fringe.
say?
Come to the Fringe, mate. Come
Yeah,
to the
really.
Fringe.
to
It's
the
a good time.
Fringe. I'm
You can
going
watch a
to
very old
Arcade
Japanese movie
Club.
about people dying.
There you
I
go.
don't care
I'll put a little link in the
anymore.
chat.
Up, I'm on.
What?
Little link in the chat for you, Duke. It's
Okay.
called Carl Pilkington in Skyrim, and it's very, very funny.
What?
I recommend it to you after the show.
Oh, sweet. Oh, I can't wait to watch that. That's going to be awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And I have a new sound clip for when we're actually done with everything. You ready?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm listening.
Okay, that's enough. No more talking.
Yes, Parks and
Live
Rec.
stream.
That's when Tommy has been ordered. We stopped